Oh, I forgot to tell you. I gotta be out by 1.
Son of a bitch. Everybody hears that. Hey, everybody. uh, that should fix it. Microphone check. Good morning. Happy Taco Tuesday to all who celebrate. The best Taco Tuesday in all the land is found here, and the best taco bowls are found at Trump Tower, if you forgot about that one. Wherever you are, however you may be listening, thanks for making us part of your day. If you can do me a favor as you're rolling in here, like the live and share, woman hater this shit again, and and share it out somewhere. Share it on some social media page. That would be greatly appreciated. All caps, woman hater. All caps, woman hater. Rezi. All caps. It's devastating. Hurts my feelings greatly.
You did it to yourself.
Come on. If you're not going to squish a watermelon between your thighs and grunt and then eat it sensually, then you hate women.
That's at least how we hear it.
Isn't that's cheating? I think. Isn't that cheating?
What's cheating?
If I do that, that's a form of cheating.
On what?
I don't know. Just let me use this as my defense real quick.
Okay.
Don't tell them, but that's what I'm going to use as my defense, that I'm uncomfortable with this because it's cheating.
Well, Em and I we came up with something in the Discord. We were talking about it yesterday.
Oh, good.
We could do something. Yeah.
Great.
We have something that could help you out with this. You could hit something. You do something golf related, and you could wear watermelon shorts or something while you're doing it.
This chat is crazy. So you hate your girlfriend? You have other options. Sit on the watermelon. Yeah. Good Trouble didn't grunt? Okay.
No, here, I can send it here. So here's Good Troubles if you want to see. A real man who supports women.
Shut up. Let me get this share screen up real quick. We're doing this 2 days in a row. This is crazy. All right, here we go. Takes his shirt off. Get the fuck out. Get out of here. Good Trouble. No. It's very minimal chest hair. Oh, it may be trimmed.
If you haven't donated to the link in my bio, you don't get to watch this. Women's heart health.
Women's heart health. Stop it. That is a lot. I gotta get. Oh, that's. Oh, goodness. Oh. That looks like a suspiciously soft watermelon. We just say that's
okay. Thank you.
I'm glad to see he was uncomfortable with that. And money shots. Oh, to be a watermelon.
It's a great cause. Link in my bio.
All right. Oh, there we go. I don't know what you agree with. Whoever said I agree with RTP, I don't know what you agree with, but thank you. I just need somebody to be on my side.
Yeah, no, he's talked about it. He wasn't in love with the idea, but he cares about women, so he did it.
All right. I'll figure something out.
I'm joking. No, but there were other people who were trying to make it make you sexual on the Discord, and it made me vomit a little bit.
Oh, good. Yeah, let's make Jen uncomfortable. I like that. Did you send some of those to me, actually? I don't remember. Did you send?
I think so.
Scroll up there. There's a lot of watermelon comments. What is it? Yes, wait. Hold on. I think we have a solution.
What is the solution?
I think we have the actual solution here to everybody's problem. I'll do this.
What are we doing?
I'll turn the watermelon into a bong.
Yeah, that was.
I'm good with that. I don't even have TikTok, really. How about this? If TikTok gives me my account back, I'll do it. How about that?
So on that note, we will not be doing anything with the watermelon. So
let's just end TikTok once and for all, and I'll just smoke out of a watermelon, and they'll ban me forever, and then we won't have to worry about TikTok anymore.
And that's a good way to completely guarantee that we'll be gone, I guess. So.
Is that my hair or a wig? That is a wig. Somebody else made that. My hair is, as you can see, it's fairly short. And I don't have a lot of hair. So here we are. All right, Jen.
But you do have hair.
What's that?
I said, but you do have hair. I
do have hair. Yeah, I'm not bald, but I do have hair. Jay's as soft as a MAGA man. No, I am not. Fun fact: your dad's dead. Fun fact: I'm a necrophiliac. Blue Chew. Give me all the dicks. You can't hear it, but I just played a Blue Chew ad right there, Jen. So, and Blue Chew, if you're out there, hit us up. He's more forehead than man now. Devastating. Gonna hit my hairline and my hatred of women on the same day. This is terrible. For all we know, Jay doesn't have a forehead. I don't know if I can crush a watermelon. I have no idea how hard that is. Has anybody tried it and failed?
I don't know anyone who would have failed and then posted it.
That's a good point. Yes. So if I don't do it, it'll just be like, yeah, I get it. This is a no-win situation across the board. Great. 5'4" with a 5 head. Fuck you. Asta Sophia said we want to see the watermelon video. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good to see you, Asta Sophia, from across the pond. Good reminder. We can get this. We can get the gift goal knocked out early today, early and often. But most importantly, we have a lot of news to cover today, so I won't waste too much time. However, Jen talked to me about some alarming things yesterday, and I think Jen needs to talk to you guys. I think you owe the people an explanation. Did we talk about this on the live stream yesterday? Or was this before? Or was this after?
No, this was after the stream, and I did bring the question to Discord.
Okay.
To see.
Jen was asked a question. I can read it here. Jen obviously is just dominating the dating apps, and she's building a roster. And Jen has added somebody new to the roster. And I assume you gave this person your phone number. It looks like, is that correct?
Yeah, you can block people if they get to be a bit much.
All right.
No,
So we'll see this message, and before we make fun of the illiteracy of this person, this was a voice message, and it's been transcribed, so it's not their fault. But this person said, if I ask your friends, what would you say about Jen? If you had to sum up her in 3 words, what do you think your friends would say? And I think I would like to know what you would say about Jen. Can we make up a name for him, or do you want to use his real name?
We can call him T.
All right, his name's Larry. Larry comes to you and says, "Yeah, see, there we go. You guys are about to have your minds fucking blown. Funeral-loving sarcasm, I like that. Tough, terrifying, property of Chris. Oh,
oh no, ew, stupid."
Dead sexy. I hope that doesn't mean sexy when dead, but Hoofy, good to see you, man. Assertive, the boss. Funny.
You guys realize it's 3 words.
Yeah, well,
keywords.
they're choosing some high standards,
Right.
smart as fuck, badass bitch, intelligent, sassy, and tough. Finger licking good. Suffers no fools. In charge, knowing mom, girl, champ, Satan's daughter. Don't hurt me. Fuck you, Cranberry said a woman, aka hated by RTP. That's great. Funny, snarky. Okay. Yeah, this is why we're having this conversation though, because I don't know. I feel like Jen owes this person an explanation because here's what old boy came up with. Larry said, "You're very nice. You're very polite. Yeah, I don't see you being a fucking headache to me anyway at all. Oh, we'll see, bitch, when she hits you with a fucking baseball bat over the head." Sorry about calling Larry a bitch. He's probably a sweet guy. Didn't believe me. I didn't believe. I've met headaches, walking, breathing headaches, and you are not that. My head hurts right now. Yeah, actually, you're very pleasant to talk to. And I'm sure that we all have our moments, switch up and getting moods and whatever. But yeah, I don't see you being a huge pain in my ass. Oh, okay. You're very soft spoken. That's what he thinks of Jen. That's the impression Jen is giving to these people online.
I am myself. I am direct.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
But I am nice. When I'm first, I don't want to scare them off right away.
So you're not yourself.
I can be nice. I know how to be nice.
Remember when I told you they were going to see this very soft-spoken as a red flag? We talked about that.
What, me being soft-spoken?
No, I said I think a lot of people in the advertising will say, or in the chat will say that saying you're very soft-spoken would be it would be viewed as misogynistic. But I just think you owe the people an explanation as to what you're doing on these dating apps that's causing people to incorrectly identify you as sweet and soft-spoken.
When I first start I'm not, I don't tell anyone to go fuck themselves when I first meet them. That usually...
But don't you think you should set the expectation?
No, that's usually when it has to be warranted. I don't go out of my way to be an asshole to people.
Well, you could say it in a nice way. Be like, hey, if you really want to take me out on a date, why don't you go fuck yourself? Something like that.
Yeah, no.
Jen the trad wife.
Oh, God, no.
Jen's going to quit this show and create like a homemaking YouTube channel. No, hey, everybody. On today's video, I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious, healthy chocolate chip cookies with 8 grams of protein in every bite and all natural ingredients for my mini-me. It's going to be you. Do you like my new lips? You might notice that my expression isn't changing today. That's just because I do Botox twice a day. And now my face is expressionless, like Tom Brady on the Kevin Hart roast. But Tom Brady did a full procedure 1 hour before the Kevin Hart roast. I'm sure of it. His face did not move at all.
Well, it can take up like 7 days to 2 weeks for your Botox to be completely go in effect. So it wasn't right before, I'm sure. But definitely he planned ahead of time. Okay, so I just always assumed, I thought like when you first did it, it would kind of freeze and then it would relax. Is that not true? Well, so like when you first get it done, it takes a little time for it to go in and kind of, I guess, set. Maybe it's like concrete. I don't know. Last Cranberry said, my Lair Bear deserves all the best. He's the breadwinner, so it's my responsibility to be a homemaker. No, definitely not. That's 100% not me. Not even a little bit. Meet my daughter, Finley. That's spelled Fynnleigh. That's Finley. You're gonna have 6 more kids. I did tell Larry that I was going to ask some people what they thought and get back to him. All right. Well, just 3 words. So I think I've got enough to go back with. So.
I want to see the responses to that. Ash said, "What up, RTP fan? Love you all. I'm a potato with legs." Said, "How about if we knock out your gift goal in an hour? You do the challenge. Done. If you knock it out by 10:45 Pacific Standard Time, 10:50 Pacific Standard Time, I'll do the watermelon challenge. I think that's fair."
Ooh.
Jen?
Ooh.
Plus an extra 20 for Jen, so that she has some extra cash in her hand when she goes on a date with Larry.
So we're saying what? 370 in an hour?
370 in an hour. Yeah, we'll do it.
All right. I'll get up a total. We got some that came in. Sully sent one, said that he wants to see Jay's sexy thighs crush the watermelon.
Don't tell me just like your calendar. The calendar is done. As soon as somebody gives me 12 poses, as soon as you guys give me the 12 poses, I have secured a photographer. I hope. I did see last night that she was at a rave. It was crazy. So she's a little bit older than me, and her boyfriend's quite a bit older than me. And they went to a rave, and it was a rave full of people. It was like a 50 and up rave, which I didn't know existed. It was incredible. It did look a little bit like on Dodgeball, when they get the wrong uniforms. It did look a little bit like that.
Well, if you think about it, back to like the early 2000s, a lot of the candy kids are probably close to 50.
Yeah.
So I guess that could be a thing.
Did she hang out with Molly at the rave? I'll tell you, she's one of my closest friends. I won't dox her, but she does work at an elementary school as a counselor, and I don't know anybody who does more drugs than her as far as like psychedelics. It's crazy. So yeah, probably. I'm almost certain that she did.
Well, I mean, so we've got some donations coming in, so you might.
Shit. I'm a potato wing said, I'm a potato with legs. Sorry, said I'm in for 10. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll do it. I do love you. I do love you. And if everybody knows that this show outside of me, everything that we do on this show is run by women. The Discord is run by women. The live stream is run by women. I think every bit of merch we've ever made is made by women. I get my entire life is just run by women. So I do love women, and what I would like to see is men step up and knock out this gift goal for women's heart health. And if you're a man in the chat, whether you be conservative or progressive, if you aren't donating to knock out this goal, then you hate women. Fuck you. How about that? Ace said, "Why does the caller sound sane and sober, not MAGA?" Because it's not a caller. It's just Jen. That's why. All right. TFI said, "I did send money." I'm Sean. All right. Appreciate it. Dolphin, thank you. Said you got 5 on it. I appreciate that. Damien, good to see you. And sent $2 over on Cash App as well. Oh, there was another one that came. Shit, we're going to knock this out early. And Kelly said, D's melons. Thank you. All right. Jen, do your thing. I'll get started.
All right. So we've got Jen F. Also, thigh crushing fund from Jen. And then Michelle, 10. So I'll total these all up and let you guys know here in a minute. But so we can get started. So we welcome everybody. It's good morning that we've been getting going here. Lots of fun. Like we mentioned, we've got this gift goal, so we want to knock it out in the next hour. Well, maybe you shouldn't. You said the gift goal plus 20. So yeah, knock it out in the next hour, so Jay can do the watermelon challenge. So if we do this quick, fast, in a hurry, we can get that watermelon video. So if you're not a paid subscriber on either platforms, you should become one so you can join us for members only events. We have a new one coming up next week. Next Wednesday, we do these each. Every other Wednesday, we've been watching company. I keep wanting to say couples retreat because of the movie. I know that's not it.
We can watch that next, Jen. Jen's got love on her mind. She's very into love right now. It's very soft.
Right.
Soft spoken. Soft spoken. Sorry.
Very soft spoken. So if you're a paid member or subscriber on either of the channels, you can join us for those members only events. If you're on YouTube and you just want to subscribe and Sully just sent $100.
Tom Brady sucks, Sully. Thank you for that.
Mickey, I'm trying to count all these in order. Hold on. Catch up. So we've got Mickey said, just watermelons. I'm getting this watermelons. Jennifer, watermelon. Cam, what did Cam say? How serious are things with Jen and Larry? Have they picked out his urn yet? Then Alex sent, I just read that a lot of crows have lost their ability to communicate. Scientists are scrambling to find the cause.
That's so good. That's so good.
That was good. So you can. All right. If you guys disagree with RTP, you can come up and have a conversation. And how you do that is you send me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo. So Jen with 2 N's, W with 2 B's, the number 1. And I can bring you up to have a conversation. Like I said, so I have to total up where we're at. But if we exceed the gift goal by $20, we will get Jay to do his watermelon video. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We got merch. Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify.
Vanessa said extra for you to do it with shorts on. Okay, you got it.
Soup just sent one. Let's see. Courtney, thank you. Oh geez, I'm not totally.
Yeah, let's get started. We'll do these all at once.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do them all in a second. So, someone handed me a pamphlet with crocodiles ranked from best to worst.
Okay.
I told him enough with your crocodile tears.
No, that sounds like some shitty MAGA trash talk there. All right, we'll get started. Let me read these that came through real quick. Bad Mama said, for women's heart health and also so can listen to you yell at MAGAs all day. Send that motherfuckers. Thank you. Ox Black said melon destruction. Hey Howdy said show me the melon. Diet Pepsi said for the HVAC reference. Blue Chew said it's Tuesday, isn't it? It is. John the Fourth said let's go men. Got all those ones. OCD. Appreciate you said I didn't see a comment there with OCD. Appreciate that. And I got those ones. All right, let's jump into it. We're going to start off with I don't know if you guys care about this. I think it's interesting and I think it matters. But here's a pre-recorded endorsement from Donald while covering up his bad hand, which is just put it under the table, dude. If you're going to cover up your hand all the time, put it under the table.
I'm in the Oval Office, and we're in a fight against the worst congressman in the history of our country. His name is Thomas Massie. He's from Kentucky. I hope you're going to put him out of business tomorrow. He is so bad. Got an election coming up. He's running against a great guy, a great patriot, Ed Gilrain. He's fantastic. But forget that. Massie's the worst congressman in the history of our country, always voting against Republicans and good values. So get rid of Thomas Massie.
Yeah, he told everybody that you were covering up the Epstein files. And for our MAGA friends that are here, welcome. Not going to be your day today. It's going to be a tough day on Donald Trump today. But please remember that the only reason that he doesn't like Thomas Massie is because Thomas Massie does not approve of going to war with Iran. He doesn't like endless wars. And he knows that the Trump administration is covering up the Epstein files. And Trump desperately wants those not to be public. So he hates Thomas Massie for that. And if you happen to side with Donald Trump, we can add you to a list of pedophile enablers, along with Stephen goddamn Miller, who's using filters like a motherfucker and a blurred background. Let's see what Stephen Miller has to say. Remember, this is Trump's reason that he's telling you is that he's the worst congressman in history. Let's see what Stephen Miller has to say.
Stephen Miller here to talk with you.
Sorry, trigger warning. Stephen Miller's ugly ass face. You're right. My bad.
About a very important subject, which is how Tom Massie betrayed America, betrayed you, and betrayed your children.
Oh, no.
The single most important issue affecting the future of our country is ending the mass third world invasion of America and reversing that invasion.
Is it, though? Is it? Why is this Nazi saying that that's the biggest threat to our country? If that's the biggest threat to our country, what are we doing with Iran? Why don't we focus on the biggest threat to our country?
And on the most important issue, on the most important vote, on the most important bill, on the most important day, Tom Massie sided with every House Democrat, every Senate Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer against President Trump, against the American people, and against you and your family.
You guys don't think it's weird that he says shit like this? We don't think this is a fucking cult yet? Why do they always say like he's against President Trump? What is that? Why don't you think that's weird? That's a good talking point for him, by the way. That's an effective talking point for MAGA. Can any of you just tell me why you don't think that's fucking weird? That they're going after Massie because he betrayed President Trump? Why do you care? Why do you care so much about Trump?
When the time came to vote for President Trump's signature border security and immigration enforcement bill, the bill to provide record funding for ICE and Border Patrol and mass deportation, Tom Massie voted no. Tom Massie voted to kill the bill. Tom Massie sided with the House and Senate Democrats over the sovereignty of this republic.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up, Stephen Miller. Do you guys, honestly, is there anybody here? Is there Mag here? Do any of you like him? Is there anybody here that likes Stephen Miller or thinks this is compelling at all? If I was, what's his name? Galrain, Ed Galrain. If I was Ed Galrain, I'd be like, could you not have the most boring Nazi in the history of the world make endorsement videos for me? Unless you're a Nazi, then maybe. What bill? He's talking about the government spending bill, which includes DHS funding, ICE funding, and Thomas Massie didn't want to vote for that bill because it increased deficit spending, which Thomas Massie has always done. Thomas Massie always votes against spending bills, almost always votes against spending bills. It's pretty on brand for him. And when he was doing it alongside Republicans, every time Joe Biden tried to pass a spending bill, they loved it. But when it comes time for Donald Trump to balloon the debt, then it's a problem. And then they're like, he betrayed Trump by not letting him increase your deficit. How could you?
I personally called Tom Massie and I said, Tom, this is the most important vote of your life and career. This is the vote to reverse the invasion of America. We need your vote. We need your support. And Tom Massie said we could all pound sand.
Yeah, for sure. That happened.
He voted against Trump.
Bargain bin Goebbels. Yeah, he's Joseph Goebbels without all the pizzazz.
He voted against the American people. He voted against you. He voted to kill the most important bill of his career.
You already said that, dog.
That is the real Tom Massie. He sided with the illegals. He sided with the left-wing NGOs. He sided with the refugee industrial complex.
The refugee industrial complex. Your whole fucking party is a joke. Everything they say is fucking made up. What the hell is wrong with you guys? What the hell is wrong with MAGA? There's no fucking way you guys are buying this.
And he sided with the radical Democrats and crazy communists instead of siding with you, your family, your children, and your loved ones. That's the truth. That's what you need to hear. That is what you need to know. When America needed him, when you needed him, when President Trump needed him, Tom Massie sided with the radical left and the foreign predators and criminal aliens over the American people.
Yeah, does he know he can hear? No, he thinks that he doesn't understand microphones. He's shouting so that everybody understands. Can you imagine watching him film this just in the house? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Phoenix Rise said, I've never seen such a glowing endorsement of Thomas Massie. Yeah, it's a pretty ringing endorsement. This whole thing, everything they're doing is an endorsement of Massie. What's up, Jen?
So we are roughly $12 shy of exceeding the goal than what we hit. I don't know how much you have in Cash App and PayPal, but where I'm sitting, we're at $357.96.
All right. I'll read comments when we're done talking about Thomas Massie. Great job, everybody. I'm happy to do this. All right. Fox News brought on Ed Galrain, and I want you to see how deceptive Fox News is and how quickly they do this. This is Bill Hemmer, and it's clear where they're getting their marching orders. It's clear that Fox News wants to get rid of Thomas Massie. And look at this. Look at this graphic that they put up for like 1 second and how dishonest it is.
Massey's raising a lot of money. He's raised twice as much as you have. Do you believe it's a difference of opinion with regard to policy, or is it a difference?
All right. Kentucky fundraising, Massey campaign, which is funded by no PAC money. It's all individual donations. They have raised $5.8 million. Galrine, $2.6 million. These are people. These are the people individually donating to their campaigns. And maybe there's some corporate money over here with Galrine. I haven't seen it. If you take 5.8 plus 2.6, that's what, 8.4 million. But then it says overall funds spent here, 25.6 million ADIM PAC. Well, he doesn't have a PAC. He's taking no corporate money. So that means that Galrine, what do we do the math there? Is that 19.8 million? Did I do that math right? And then they have the audacity to say he's outspending you.
Regard to policy, or is it a difference with the president?
Oh, it's a difference that he's been supported by a liberal elites. Look where that money's coming from. I've challenged the local papers. There's a Pulitzer Prize waiting for them of where he's getting his money. It is not coming from Kentucky.
It's public record. It's individual donors. It's easy. Where'd you guys get where'd that 25 million come from? You going to talk about that, Ed? Now, Ed Galrine is a former Navy SEAL. You can see, you might notice here that he's very proud of his service. Nobody knows what he did because he won't tell anybody. Nobody really even knows who this guy is. He kind of came out of nowhere. And every time he's asked about his military service, he's like, everything's top secret, but Trump trusts me, so you have to.
It is not coming from conservatives. They do not want Ed Galrine, a conservative Republican, in Congress with these lapel pins and that symbology you see behind me.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is. It's that all these people who have voted for Thomas Massey, like he wins every primary, and he has forever. He's deeply popular in Kentucky, or was. They don't want a conservative. This is one of the most conservative members of Congress. I hate defending Thomas Massey all the time, but this is exactly who you'd want. He's one of the few honest people in your party, and that's tells you everything you need to know about MAGA. Good to see you here, Tony Tigris. And maybe you have a comment on this. How is it that your most principled person is the enemy? How come everybody with principles in your party winds up being run out? How come it is that if the only thing that you need to do to stay in the good graces of the GOP is fillet Donald Trump, but if you take a principled stand, you're done? And I would just like to say, Tony, maybe you can answer this. Why is it that Thomas Massey had no opposition until he demanded that they release the Epstein files? How come? Why do all your people suck?
They want him because he is a co-conspirator with the radical Democrats, and the stakes are just going to get higher. Okay. He will continue to betray us past his prologue.
Everyone's watching.
He's our best friend. Yeah. I guess he is like a co-conspirator with us on one issue and one issue only. And that issue is release the fucking Epstein files. Stop protecting pedophiles. And I guess if you want to call him a radical leftist for that, that's fine.
Ed Galrine, thank you for coming on today. Tomorrow's a big day and those 21 counties, as you point out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Tomorrow night.
I mean, it's not the end of the world. I think that they're like all things with Trump. It's probably safe. The Republicans probably going to win in that district. But Trump keeps winning these GOP primaries and putting up candidates that are going to struggle in any sort of competitive race. And it's wild to watch you guys in real time watch Donald Trump like destroy your party. Like absolutely destroy. He's putting up the worst fucking candidates that you have. The dumbest people in your party are the ones that Trump loves the most. Why? Because they don't have anything to say. They don't have any ideas. They just say Donald Trump is great. And then he's like, all right, I endorse you. And you're left with like just a bunch of idiots who do whatever this orange man tells them to do, which sucks. Don't you think that sucks? Yeah, yesterday we showed that clip. Good point. Lindsey Graham said, like, if you go against Trump, you're out of the party. But here, then we had, for some reason, Pete Hegseth showed up to campaign, and he had to give this disclaimer. Now, challenge to any of you. Show me a Secretary of Defense ever who has showed up to campaign. This is absolutely a violation of the Hatch Act. And what he's doing here, he's going to add a disclaimer like you can just if you put up a disclaimer, then you can violate the Hatch Act. By the way, the Hatch Act basically says that you can't, in your official capacity as Secretary of Defense, go out there and endorse candidates and campaign.
And it's an honor to be here with all of you. I have to say up front for the lawyers that I'm here in my personal capacity as a private citizen, a fellow American. And
yeah, everybody laughed at that. Wait, you can't take off your Secretary of Defense pin whenever you want. That's your job. There's long-standing rules in the military that you are not to be political. Not only is it a violation of the Hatch Act, but it is a violation of the norms from our military forever. I've told, I think I've said this before. I have a cousin who's pretty high up in the Army. He is, I don't know what his rank is, but he was a Black Hawk helicopter. He went to West Point. Even with me, he will not talk politics. He won't talk politics with anybody because he takes that seriously. He takes their rules seriously, and he wants to make sure that nobody ever questions where his loyalties lie, that his loyalty is to the Constitution, to the oath that he took, and not to a politician, but not Pete Hegseth. It's a terrible precedent to set for soldiers.
And a fellow combat veteran here to
Did I say Black Hawk helicopter pilot? He flew them. Did I say he was a Black Hawk helicopter? Sorry.
support Navy SEAL Ed Galrine.
Yeah, it's like taking off your wedding ring and thinking that you're single. Well, I think that's what Pete Hegseth also did. He seems to find a lot of loopholes in all of this. Here's Ed Galrine. Again, you can criticize Thomas Massie, which he's done.
Without missing a...
And I think that's part of a campaign. He refuses to debate Thomas Massie. He won't stand on a stage with Thomas Massie. He's been confronted multiple times where his own constituents are like, hey, why won't you debate? And he's like, I am debating. I'm debating without him. But this is his entire message. His message is, I love Donald Trump, and I have a really cool military record that I can't ever tell you about.
Without missing a lick, he turned to me and he goes, Ed, he says, I want you to go home. You talk to your family, you pray on this, and you think about it. I'm going to endorse you in life and whatever you do. You know why he said that? Remember that top secret record? He knows me.
Who cares? For the record, our friends that are here that have served in the armed forces, thank you. Appreciate it. That does not qualify you to be a congressman. Just saying I have a top secret record is not a qualification. This is full-on deep state trust me bro shit. This is the deep state. Everything about him is a secret. Trust me, Donald Trump likes me. To what your party's become. He's a neutered Trump sycophant. I don't even know if he's neutered. He might be one of those like Michael Flynn true believers. I'd also like to say that as a special forces operator, that's cool. You learned a lot of stuff. You probably did a lot of cool things. But you also followed orders. And he talks about national security all the time. He's like, oh, I know so much about national security. I know what the real threat is. Brother, you were at war. You don't have the same, like, we don't face the same national security concerns as you do. That wasn't national security. That was mission security. You knew about war plans. You were conducting missions to fight in a war. And for the record, fuck all the wars that you were in, dude. Every fucking war that you were in was unjust. So why do we care? Why would we trust that you know the problem? Iraq, unjust. Afghanistan, unjust. I don't know if he was in Desert Storm. I can't remember. Oh shit, just moved my whole desk. Unjust. That's what it takes to beat a solid Republican. You don't have to say anything. Just Donald Trump loves me, and I have a secret past. And this isn't even like a partisan thing. Like, this sucks for our country, for all of us. It sucks in our country that millions of people think this is effective messaging. Because if this is effective messaging, how will you ever know anything about the people that you're electing. He's going in secretive. I'm not going to tell you anything. You think he's going to fucking tell you anything when he's in Congress? You think he's going to, if there's a corrupt president, I know you guys don't think Trump is corrupt, but let's just say that there happens to be a Republican president who's deeply corrupt. Do you think he's going to turn? Or do you think he's just going to do what he's always done his entire life, which is follow orders and keep secrets? That's not something I would look for in voting for a member of Congress. I don't know why you would.
He knows everything about me.
He's best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. That's not a ringing endorsement.
He knows what I did for you in uniform. He knows what I'll do for you in Washington.
For the record, again, thank you for everybody who served. You didn't do that for us. Any act you commit, any act that he took during the Iraq or Afghanistan war, that wasn't for us. Stop telling us that was for our safety. That's bullshit. We weren't in danger. You did that for Halliburton. You did that for the oil companies. You did that for Benjamin Netanyahu. You did that for the military-industrial complex. And you might have thought you were doing it for us. You might have really believed that when you signed up, and I have sympathy for that. And I think it sucks that so many people with good intentions thought we were all in trouble and we all needed saving, and you went over there and you risked your lives. I think that sucks. And I'm not trying to shit on your decision, but it wasn't for us. We all know now who it was for. It wasn't for us, though. I have problems with somebody like this who years later is this somber and this is so self-important that he can look back at those wars and be like, I did this for you. Are you out of your fucking mind, man? Like, we have the internet.
I'll be your champion. I will serve you. I'll serve our party. I'll serve our nation.
How would we know?
I'm asking for your vote. I'll be here for further questions. I'll answer the ones. I've gone too long. I'm going to share one last thing about this picture, if I could. Of course, I'm most proud of this one back here moving hay. That's 2 seasons. I'm proud of her hay.
Guys, as soon as I'm done with Ed Galleron, I'll read all the comments. I apologize, but I wanted to. They were coming in so fast, I felt like I was going to screw up the flow here. This is somebody who volunteered for the military. Again, hats off to all of you who volunteered for the military, but he doesn't want to do that anymore. He wants everybody to be subservient.
73, we moved away from conscription selective service and went to the all-volunteer force.
This guy's too old for the Iraq war. He might have been to Grenada. I think he went to Iraq. I don't know how old he is.
And so that's been the most challenging few years since that transition, and that is a significant issue for national security. And now back to the question about, selective service and, the attitudes about it, I would offer there is a cultural issue, and it does appear we have a corrosion of our culture and the commitment to what our nation stands for. If you figure, we got to start selective service, we got to get them through all the end process.
Yeah, let's just draft everybody into the military. What are they planning on? Did you know that right now we have the largest buildup of military assets since the Iraq war? Like, this is the most people I think we've had deployed to the Middle East since the Iraq war. And this guy's talking about a draft. What are they planning here? I heard that this morning. I didn't know that. Why do we have a massive buildup? Are we planning a land invasion? Are we planning a war? He talks repeatedly, and multiple Republicans talk repeatedly. They keep referencing, if you notice this, they keep referencing Winston Churchill. Lindsey Graham did it yesterday. They keep referencing 1939. You know what's significant about 1939? It was the first real discussion we had in this country about, should we join World War II? And we didn't. It took us a while. Because, spoiler, we didn't really have many problems with the Nazis. We were fairly sympathetic to the Nazis. We had to be dragged into the war by Japan, and Japan siding with Germany. And that fucked up a lot of Americans, because Americans were like, damn, I was kind of liking that Hitler guy. I kind of liked him a lot. But Republicans are openly talking about 1939. They're openly talking about Winston Churchill. They're openly talking about how if we delay to get in this war, more people will die. And then they're building up the military all through the Middle East. And now this guy that Trump is endorsing to go against Thomas Massie is calling for not even a draft, but mandatory service.
boot camp, training, you're talking months downstream. Do we really?
Wow. Al McAllister said, RTP, you're 100% correct in what I've heard you say today. I'm a lifelong Republican who voted for Kamala and would vote for Jasmine Crockett for any position she may run for in a heartbeat. I appreciate you saying that. I agree with that. I think like the Republican that I was would not have voted for any of these Republicans. I have different views now, but I have empathy there. It must be really challenging for Republicans with actual principles who have had these principles for a long time to watch this happen to your party.
They have that time anymore.
No.
Is that a deeply flawed concept?
Yeah.
And so what would really happen if we had to go from what I call a cold start of a pending, world war? How fast and what would really happen if we had to re-implement selective service, i.e. the draft, train, equip, and prepare to deploy those forces? I'm not sure we have that kind of time anymore.
Right.
Because of speed and lethality. We want to stay
For
in
what? What do you mean we don't have time? What's on the horizon? It seems like they keep telling us something's on the horizon and then we just bomb somebody and we start a war. It's getting scary how the Republicans are talking. This Christian nationalism thing, this Project 2025 thing, it's becoming very, very real, and they're not hiding it anymore. They're begging to go to war, and now they're talking about reintroducing the military draft. He's not the only one that's doing it. Here he is talking about rising gas prices, which are affecting all of us. You look at gas prices now, and our country is just one big fucking delusion right now. You think about the disruption that we've had in oil production and oil shipping. Virtually every country is draining their petroleum reserves, right? So what if this war ends tomorrow? What happens? You can open up the strait, but prices aren't going to immediately come down. Why? Because people need to refill their reserves. So that means less of the oil will hit the market because you're going to have extra demand to refill your reserves. So while you're refilling your reserves and then you're selling oil, that will mean there's less oil, which means gas prices will go up. And Wall Street doesn't seem to get this because our entire fucking economy is a joke. The way that we speculate is a fucking joke. This is going to hit us. Summer's not going to be great. This is going to affect us all the way through fall. And some of you need to start voting for people like Thomas Massie. Now, when Ed Galleron's asked about this, because his expertise is simply I follow orders, I'm a soldier, and he's asked about rising gas prices, here's what he's given you. And this is the guy that your president, our president, is endorsing. He needs this guy to take Thomas Massie's spot. Thomas Massie saying we should stop spending money on war and we should get the fuck out, which is what I think most people in this chat think. Republican, Democrat, Independent. I find that most of the people in this chat are on that same page. We should get the fuck out. This doesn't make any sense. But Trump wants to keep going, so now we've got Ed Galleron. And you got, for the MAGA people that are still there, there's even anti-war MAGA who don't agree with Trump, but then they'll go and they'll vote for Galleron over Massie. Why? Well, because we're supposed to hate Massie.
During his speech, Gowron noted how the Kentucky business community and farmers are being squeezed by the rising cost of fuel and fertilizer. That prompted me to ask how he feels about the war in Iran, which has caused prices to soar.
The president is playing five-dimensional chess. He is resetting the entire global power structure. So let him work through that, to reset that, to set the conditions for just like President Reagan did. Exactly like President Reagan did.
During his...
Yeah. They also mentioned Reagan a lot. Melanie said, we cut off Japan's oil and energy source out of nowhere, which caused Pearl Harbor. I would just change that wording, which led them to attack on Pearl Harbor. I wouldn't say directly caused because they still made choices. But and then we did to Japan what we're doing to Cuba right now. Exactly. It's what we do. Great points, Melanie. Phoenix just said oil tankers run at bicycle speed. For every day in the war, it will take a week to recover. It's going to take a while. Sounds like MAGA in a bar. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's drunk or not, but he sounds like it. A couple more, and then I'll get to all the other comments. Here's Thomas Massie's response to what's happening here, and we'll see. I think that polling shows it's neck and neck. Massie is leading in most of the polls I've seen. I think he's going to pull this off, which would be a huge win for Republicans and a huge rebuke for Donald Trump.
There have been more than $32 million spent on a primary in this congressional district, which is now the most expensive House primary ever in the United States. Is it worth it?
You'd have to ask Miriam Adelson on May 20th if it was worth it. Because, you know, they tried to buy my...
Just naming names. I love Thomas Massey for that. Again, I don't think he's the brightest. I don't think he's the greatest politician, but I appreciate him being transparent.
I vote for 14 years and it was never for sale. Now they're trying to buy a seat here in Kentucky. I think they underestimated the reserve price of my constituents. They waded into this. They thought they could buy this seat with a couple million. That didn't work. And now they're throwing good money after bad. The thing that surprised me is how much money we've been able to raise. I don't have 3 billionaires who want to just throw their money away. I've got the grassroots, tens of thousands of donations. Average donation for me is about $80. And we've been able to go toe to toe. A lot of that 32 million is coming from our side, but it's coming from regular working Americans.
When you say that they spent money to try to buy the seat, who are you talking about specifically?
I'm talking about the Israeli lobby, AIPAC, Republican Jewish Coalition, Miriam Adelson, Paul Singer, and John Paulson. These are the groups that have given 95% of the money to my opponent.
Why? What about Thomas Massey would cause pro-Israel donors to try and unseat him? What are the two things he's against? The release of the Epstein files, which certainly implicate Israeli intelligence. And he's against this war with Iran, which Israel dragged us into. Crazy. The No New War Party, the America First Party, is running out somebody for voting on like the most obvious America First agenda. Let's stop wasting our money on wars. And let's also be a country that doesn't protect pedophiles. And let's remove the influence of Israel from our government. What did you guys what did you think was going to happen when Trump won, and what do you think now? Are you just okay? I didn't really ever care about how anything went. I just needed Trump to win.
Because they're mad at me over foreign policy. Now, what's interesting is my policy has always been no country is special.
Yeah, he only votes with the GOP 91% of the time. Oh, no.
And no country deserves my constituents' taxpayer dollars. So I have never voted for foreign aid to Egypt, to Syria, to Israel, or to Ukraine. But the ones in Israel, since they're the biggest recipients of it, that makes them a little bit mad.
What's so wrong about helping defend Israel from Iranian threats?
We've got debt. I mean, at least with NATO, there's the promise of a reciprocal arrangement. With Israel, it's completely one way. And they drug us into wars. They've convinced us that Iran is just days away from a nuclear weapon, and they're perpetually that way. This is not our war. Israel, for instance, funds abortions publicly. I think a lot of Republicans would be aghast to know that we're giving $3.8 billion a year, every year to...
Gotta own the libs, including the biggest lib of them all, checks notes, Thomas Massey. Yeah. The biggest lib. The guy literally denies climate change. Got absolutely dunked on by John Kerry, not understanding climate science or political science.
That funds public abortions.
You know that kind of criticism doesn't sit well with fellow Republicans, at least in the House Republican Conference, that there are others who've accused you of all sorts of things regarding Israel, regarding the state of Israel, regarding the Israeli government, regarding Jewish Americans.
What has Israel ever done to us? They dragged us into a bunch of wars. Penny, are you not grateful?
Are you anti-Semitic?
They're trying to tell you that it's anti-Semitic. For me, to expose the fact that the Republican Jewish Coalition has spent millions of dollars in this race, that a dual citizen, Miriam Adelson, who even Trump says is more loyal to Israel than the United States, has spent millions of dollars in this race. Those are mere facts. And it's really...
It's a yes or no. Are you anti-Semitic or not?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
I'm hell no anti-Semitic. But here's the danger that AIPAC runs. They've been too cute by half. They've tried to get Mike Johnson, and he's willingly done this, conflate in...
Maverick, why is it a false equivalency comparing Japan to Cuba? Remember what Melanie said is we cut off Japan's oil and energy source out of nowhere. That's her claim, Maverick. Did we not cut off Cuba's oil and energy source? It's not a false equivalency. She was very specific there. Melanie's really smart. I wouldn't argue with Melanie if I were you, Maverick.
Resolutions on the House floor that anti-Zionism equals anti-Semitism. Or even worse yet, that
where was it out of if it wasn't out of nowhere, Maverick? Why did we cut off Japan's energy then? Give us the details.
If you don't support Benjamin Netanyahu's war in Gaza, then you're anti-Semitic. That's absolutely false, and it does Jewish Americans a big disfavor to equate the two.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. Always the go-to for anything critical of Israel. Are you anti-Semitic? All right. I think, is that it? I'll skip the last one. Thomas Massey's confident he's going to win. We'll see. I hope that he does for everybody's sake. Dolphin said, my dad served in Vietnam. His mission was classified. He was in Cambodia. He can sure as hell say what his mission was. Lies. Also hope we get to see those thigh muscles while cracking that melon. Thank you. Terrific. Creeps. All of you are creeps. Let me go back and read these now. Cam said, let's go, Gallagher. Smash that watermelon. I mean, you already got the hairline. Thank you. Fuck you. Christopher said, for the squeeze, but what's the goal for heart health raising? I don't know what you mean by that. William said, for MAGA's dad's ass health. Kirsten said, when I was 22, I went into a seizure. Doctors found stress on my heart. Now I do the best I can to take care of my heart. Happy smashing. All right, make me feel bad. Brad said, I keep hearing excuses about this calendar. It's been almost 2 years, and these women are still waiting, especially Brie. Well, there were a lot of excuses before. That was my fault, but there are no excuses now. Just need the poses. Peter said, so Jay can stop hating women. I love you. Stop asking. Said, one of these days, you'll actually read one of my comments, and I'll die from shock, so maybe don't do that. I don't think it says I love you. Stop asking on there, or I would. Courtney, we got that one. Jessica said, I want to hear grunting with that watermelon crush. Grunting. Soup said, I love women, but I'm going to love to see Jay's thighs bust a watermelon like an anaconda wrecking John Voight. I'll put on like some spandex pants. We'll do that. Mickey, thank you. Jennifer, thank you. Sean said, for the challenge. Sully said, I want to see Jay's very sexy thighs crush a watermelon. We did hit that goal, so I'll be crushing a watermelon. I don't know if I'll be able to do it today. I've got my daughter today, but I'll try and get it done Wednesday. Got some time one day. Yeah, and Jen is going to throw up. Poor Jen. Okay. Did I get all those? Let me make sure I got everything. I think I've read everybody's. Ortiz said, go Chiefs. Vanessa said, extra for you to do it with shorts on. I think I read that one. Okay. Let's get on with the rest of our show. Thank you, guys. We're doing the watermelon challenge. I appreciate that. And what, Jen?
So, W chat. And you guys can do it. So what it's for the American Heart Association to raise awareness for Women's Heart Health Month. So if you guys want to go over and donate to them or maybe share, repost other videos you run across, you can do that as well.
I think to make this fair, we should have to watch you watch it. I think we should have to see your face while we show the video.
We didn't negotiate that ahead of time.
I know we didn't, but I think that's fair.
I'll watch it because I have to make fun of you about it later, so I'll have to watch it first.
I just think we both deserve to be uncomfortable. No? Or does that make me hate women again? I'm not sure. I never can remember if I hate women or not. I feel like I don't, but then you guys remind me that I do. Watch her bite her lip.
I'll make fun of you. So.
Don't read Nick's comment. Whatever you do on YouTube, Jen, don't read that one. All right. Let's get into the title of the show today. Coffeezilla went through the president's stock trade, so we didn't have to. But I wanted to show you this clip. This is what I referenced earlier when it comes to oil and just how dumb our markets are and how corrupt our system is. If our markets were honest, we wouldn't see them continuing to climb like this. This is complete manipulation of our markets. It's clear that Donald Trump and his friends are making a fortune, and they have enough money to prop up the markets. And then they also deal with what, if you look at every crash, what you find with every single crash is that everybody is too... Nobody ever wants to recognize that a crash is coming. Everybody wants to keep saying, it's not coming, it's not coming, it's not coming. And so almost every time there's a crash, we're at like all-time highs, and everybody's telling us things are great. And when you hear politicians and everybody on Wall Street going on TV and saying, don't worry about it, it's actually going to be great. I know it seems like it's not going to be great, but it's going to be great. That's when you should start to worry. And that's the stage we're at right now. This is a little bit boring. We won't go through the whole thing. But this was from Drop Site News. This is former Goldman Sachs commodity chief Jeff Curie. And so this is somebody who's worked on Wall Street, who is specifically in commodities. This is what this is what he traded on. And he's saying what basically everybody who isn't financially incentivized to lie to you is saying, which is this is a problem. And it's a problem that's not going to end very soon.
I mean, look, when you're speaking with the majors, with the refiners, they completely get it. But when you're talking to the hedge funds, the macro guys, they're like, exactly like you said, well, we're exporting 6 million barrels per day. I was like, you do realize in 2 months' time, your own refiners will not have enough crude to run.
Yes.
We think tank bottoms in the US Gulf Coast is, 200 million barrels. If you get below 220, you're already in like pretty kind of tricky situation.
Swish given the watermelon business in booty shorts. Thank you. Not booty shorts.
We're not that far away.
Right.
So I think that's the bit, that's why I'm struggling with it, because everybody's like, oh, but we have enough to balance, but somehow we keep drawing inventory. So we are basically saying that we need to get to tank bottoms before this market actually wakes up and says, okay, there is an outright shortage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to get to the outright shortage, and then but still.
Again, like this is Jeff Curie. This is the actual expert here, former at Goldman's or at Goldman Sachs. He was on the commodities board.
Banks are still 2 weeks from now. It's everything's going to be okay, and you got like my old shop out there talking May 15th, June 15th. It's always 2 weeks. Everything 2 more weeks, everything's going to be a-okay. No, it's not going to be a-okay in 2 weeks.
Do you know why it's 2 weeks? I learned this recently. Studies have been done that 2 weeks is is the perfect amount of time to get people not to worry about something. It's near enough that people don't feel like you're putting it off, but far enough that they don't have to address it right now. And so when you see politicians and when you see these folks on Wall Street consistently using 2 weeks, and it's why Trump always says 2 weeks, it's because you feel like you can wait that long. Like it's going to, if somebody told you, I'll get back to you, give me like 2 weeks. You're like, okay, I can wait 2 weeks. 4 weeks, you're like, that's too long. 6 weeks, that's too long. 2 weeks is good. And then a lot of times you're going to forget about it. And then when it comes up again, you can just say, 2 weeks. There's a reason that number comes up all the fucking time. California's primary date is in 2 weeks. Thank you, Ruth.
Even if it was, as you and I were talking about, the damage, the logistics, and everything like that.
Also, just the pace at which this reopens, no one knows.
Yeah.
But why do you think? Because we have seen this coming into this year, the U.S. banks were extremely bearish.
Mm-hmm.
They've not, they're a little bit bullish now, like your old shop, but not saying, guys, this is a crisis.
They just mark to market.
Right.
And by the way, it's almost like they're being censored. I don't want to go that far, but it doesn't make, or they're being censored or they have no concept of the magnitude of this. Like I was reading one of them. We're drawing 14 million barrels per day. 14 million barrels per day draws.
It's never happened in our careers, by the way.
Yeah. And then they go, okay, we're going to raise the fork.
Jeremy says, no offense, Jay, but I don't think you can crush a watermelon with your thighs. Don't feel bad. I probably can't either. Many of you might not know, I have very big legs and a healthy caboose. So I don't know. We'll see how strong I can be. But I do have big legs. So I hope that I'm not embarrassed.
Forecast from 65 to 90, which is market to market. I was checking the market at the time when they raised to 90. It was trading at 90.51 at the time. That's a mark to market. And then, but the front is trading at like 110, 115. And you're saying we're going to go to 90 and we're drawing 90 million or 14 million barrels per day. I can't see where, where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just I think part of it is most of them, I'm going to date myself. I've been through enough cycles in this. I think that their experience, they look back, cupcake, hey, nothing ever happens. We're okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be,
There's enough. Everybody says Saudi's going to raise production to 12 million barrels per day. It's going to be free for all. The amount of people who have said this to me. And I think you're exactly right. I think Upcake has reshaped how people think about, geopolitical outages. But the difference is this is happening. It's happening as we speak, right? It's not that. Okay, let's pivot back to.
I just wanted to go right there. It's all a show. And the markets are in on it now with Trump. They're just lying to you. They're just telling you all the time, like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Why are they saying that? Because they don't want the market to crash either. So we're in this weird situation where we said it yesterday, and I'm not going to do this challenge again today because it's pathetic every time we do it. But we regularly will ask Republicans, just like in the chat, write out something that you believe that is real. And they never get one that's real. Never. It's always some crazy shit. They know that. They know that you would rather feel good than know the truth. And telling people the truth hurts, and people turn the channel when you tell the truth. If we ran this live all day every day, and all we really did is take like conservative content creators and just shit on them, this channel would probably be like 5 times the size. But I would want to punch myself in the face every single day. If we talk about stuff like this that's hard to hear, we lose an audience. That's the American attention span. And that's remember that lady yesterday that was like, she was at that like Israel USA rally, and they're just like, what do you think about this war in Iran? Doesn't seem to be going well. She's like, I just ignore things that are uncomfortable and hope that everything works out for the best. That's most people. They just want to hear that it's okay. Then they don't have to take a stance against the war. They don't have to worry about what's coming in the future. They can just move on with their life. All right, here's the video as promised. This is Coffeezilla.
I investigated
He decided to go through all of Trump's trades, and when I say that this is by far and away the most corrupt politician ever to exist, it's not even debatable. We're going to see a lot of people bringing up Nancy Pelosi, and I'll show them that chart again from yesterday, the difference between what Nancy Pelosi has made versus what Trump has made in just one presidency, and it won't change anything for them. But this is incredibly corrupt. And if we could get just a third of MAGA to wake the fuck up and leave the cult, that'd be dope.
the president's trading record so you don't have to. Recently, he released a filing that shows the stock trades that were made on his behalf. I should say immediately that the president denies exclusively doing these trades. They say these are all done through fully discretionary accounts, independently managed by third-party financial institutions with sole and exclusive authority over all investment decisions. Neither President Trump, his family, nor the Trump Organization plays any role in selecting, directing, or approving specific investments. Now, do we believe
this is fucking crazy that they say this. Just to get that out of the way, Coffeezilla is going to be lukewarm on this. I'm not. There's no fucking way that's true. And you don't have to believe me, but watch this video, and I want you to think about this. If what they're saying is true, that they have no insight into where they're investing, then you're going to have to explain a whole bunch of press conferences and truths and public comments of Donald Trump about specific companies where he just bought their stock and then he hypes them publicly. You're going to have to explain that. Like, how did the people that work for him and invest his money like not know that? Or is that the way that he communicates with them? I guess at best you could argue as a Trump fan that they're just listening to what he says and making those investments. Still corrupt. That doesn't change it at all. Like, you don't get a loophole for corruption. It's either corrupt or it's not.
believe that? I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's personally directing all the investments, but what's strange is it rhymes with the Nancy Pelosi defense. Everyone knows Nancy Pelosi is a famously good stock trader, or specifically her husband is. And that's the whole excuse. She says, she's not into stock trading, even though, she has all sorts of insider information through her role.
Here's the chart about for Pelosi. This is the difference. This is Nancy Pelosi's career in Congress versus Trump's second term. That's her career. She was in Congress for 178 years. 130 million. There's Trump's in a year and a few months. You don't get to say Nancy Pelosi. There you go. Some of you are asking, this is Coffeezilla. He has two channels. Coffeezilla is an incredible investigative journalist, one of the best when it comes to like financial crimes. This man by himself is responsible for probably 20 to 30 convictions of crypto scammers. And his life has been kind of turned upside down ever since Trump came into office, because then Trump started doing the exact crimes that Coffeezilla helped put people behind bars for. And he's like, wait, what the fuck? He famously sells shirts that says crime is legal because it's legal now. All these crimes that Coffeezilla's put people away for. It's legal.
As former Speaker of the House, as a Congresswoman, so people have been suspicious of her for years. And what makes this an ironic video is that this is something that Trump actually picked up on and kind of called her out for.
Members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
Now, it's funny, as you can see all the people from Congress standing up for that, but it's like, wait, aren't we calling out some of you in the room? Now, this is a line that they say every single time. We need to stop insider trading. We got to stop people from corruptly profiting on insider information. And then we get a big fat...
It said the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. That's from Albert Einstein. Good point. Bob said 178 years, literally, LOL, first time today. Nice. Thanks, buddy.
Nothing. Every time everyone, there's a lot of vocal support, in theory, and then nothing ever happens. Nobody ever gets stopped from doing this. But Nancy Pelosi is specifically singled out here as sort of the worst offender in Congress for these insider trading allegations.
Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it.
Oh, we got her. We got it. Everybody has dunked on Nancy Pelosi forever, myself included, and rightfully so. Okay, she's one of the best traders of all time. In fact, there's even Twitter accounts you can go follow called Nancy Pelosi Stock Tracker, where they follow the specific trades of her husband, and you can basically participate in the insider trading allegations once they're disclosed, which is a little bit late anyways. But that same account, interestingly, has recently...
What did you say that Modern Relic said? They're like, there goes my infinite money glitch. No, you know why I think they all stood and clapped? Because they knew he wasn't going to do a fucking thing about it. He knew. He was trading. He was breaking the law. They all knew he wasn't going to do. He can't do anything. It's their job to write that law. Why the fuck are they clapping for him? And every time we try and put up one of those rules that you can't trade stocks, Mike Johnson kills it. Mike Johnson just yesterday or the day before was like, hey, people in Congress don't make enough money. So if we ban stock trading, then we're going to lose good people in Congress. They knew, everybody in that room that stood up and clapped, they knew that was bullshit. And they knew that was their opportunity to stand up and look like they were in agreement. But do they ever vote for it? No. Dem, Republicans, same arsehole? No. Democrats, the progressive side of the Democratic Party, and far more Democrats have signed on to legislation to ban stock trading than Republicans. They are not the same in this. However, there are Democrats and Republicans who are both corrupt and do this. But currently... I think it's like 30 or 40 people in Congress that co-sponsored the Democratic bill, and then it's like Thomas Massey. Basically, every Republican you hate and you want to run out wants to ban stock trading, and all the ones that you love are like, no, we can't ban stock trading.
Taken over to talking about these new filings that Trump had to do with relation to what he has been purchasing, because there has been a super unusual pattern of not only a lot of trading of various stocks, but also like Trump has gotten into shilling specific stocks, sometimes even with ticker symbols. And the Financial Times specifically did this incredible chart where they showed that, the amount of trades has just exploded recently. And this all coincides with, the Iran war starting here.
You guys want to explain that? These are Trump's trades. These are his trades last year and now. There's an easy answer. And I think you all know what the answer is. The answer is he knows he can get away with it. All of his friends are doing it. He wants in on it. That's the answer. And he's in control of when he's kind of in control of when this plummets too. What's going to happen? What are you guys going to do when this crashes and he sells off before it crashes? Are you still going to defend that? This is the most obvious corruption I've ever seen in my life, like from any politician. This is incredible. And not only is it obvious, but there are rules in Congress, and he's breaking all of them. He's pumping stocks. He's pumping crypto. He's taking gifts from foreign countries. He's breaking every rule. The emoluments clause, insider trading, everything. He's just breaking every fucking rule. And this, give me another explanation for this, please. Maverick, give me a better explanation for this. You think the 50, you can do two things at once, Maverick. The 50 billion in fraud in Minnesota and California are both being investigated right now. Oh, we can't care. The president can be corrupt because there's fraud going. Are you out of your fucking mind, man? That's a pathetic whataboutism by you. I can't talk about any of this. That's pathetic, dude.
You know, the activity was ticking up right before that. Then all of a sudden you just have a flurry of stock trading activity where previously you hardly had any. I mean, there were not.
Given the same opportunity, you would also break the law. Yeah, that explains that. You're probably a Trump voter. That explains it. Given the opportunity, I would cheat and steal. That's what I love about Donald Trump, is he cheats and steals. And that vibes with my conservative principles, my Christian conservative principles.
That many disclosed stock trades. So it's worth looking at some of these. Now, I'll say there are just thousands of these purchases, sales.
Brad, we're not doing this. We're not doing our whole government is corrupt. We're talking about Donald fucking Trump right now, who is more corrupt than all of them combined. We're not doing this. You have to talk about Trump today. We're going to just get rid of people who play both sides and sit on the fence. Donald Trump is the only president in the history of our country ever to do this. Ever. There's one president, exactly fucking one. It's not everybody. It's not both sides. And the fact that you have to include people outside of the presidency to ignore this type of corruption goes to show like what we're saying about you might be true. And we're going to get to this in a little bit, that this is a cult. And you don't know it's a cult, and you won't believe that it's a cult, but everything they've done is to program you to not give a fuck about this. They've just told you over and over that everybody's corrupt. They lie to you over and over about corruption. They don't prove corruption on anybody. They've put nobody in jail, but they've just convinced you everybody's corrupt. And so when it comes time for Donald Trump to be blatantly corrupt, you don't care. Government is a cult. That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid, Pitbull. Stop it. Why are you so afraid? Let's everybody focus on Pitbull real quick. Why are you so afraid to say that Donald Trump is corrupt? Think about that. I'll explain it. I'll explain why you're afraid in a few minutes. But think about that. Why is it that when we show his corruption, you talk about the government and not him? Just think about it.
I don't know why all of a sudden this automated process or these independent institutions who are trading on the president's behalf would suddenly start trading now as opposed to like before where there was hardly any activity. We don't know that.
Yeah, Brad, you say, I know he's corrupt. But what you're doing is you're ignoring talking about his obvious corruption, which has never happened before, by deflecting to other corrupt people. So you don't care. Yes, I know he's corrupt, but you care that everybody else is. It bothers you. This is different. Nobody else can even do this. Nobody can manipulate markets like this. The president has a unique ability to manipulate markets, and he's doing it. None of this has happened ever before. This is all brand new. I know both sides are corrupt and we all need to band together. Then do it, Pitbull. Then shut the fuck up about everybody else and say Donald Trump's corrupt. He should be impeached. He should be removed. Republicans should impeach and remove him, and use your voice to do something. Saying we're all going to band together is silly. We're trying to band together. Like, who is it that's writing these bills? Pitbull, are you a big AOC fan? How do you feel about Ilhan Omar? How do you feel about Bernie Sanders? How do you feel about Rashida Tlaib? How do you feel about Ro Khanna? Because those are the people pushing this. If you want to band together, then you got to join us, because it's only those people who are doing it. There's nobody on your side. And Thomas Massey, are you saying that you're on the side with Thomas Massey and AOC and Ro Khanna and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders? We don't need to meet you anywhere. We're calling for it. You need to leave those people, and you need to stop playing whataboutism on this shit. Make an example out of the president. I'm not dividing you. I'm not dividing you. You're dividing. I'm asking you to have some principles here. You won't do it.
But I want to zoom in on some specific egregious cases where we have trades happening around the time that there just are literal endorsements by the president. Let's take the one Nancy Pelosi stock tracker highlighted specifically, which is the Dell call out. Because on May 8th, the president said, hey, go out and buy a Dell.
Dell, go out and buy a Dell computer. Because they don't care about that. They care about this. They make a great product.
There's Renee. I don't want to care about Trump, so they were all doing it. They just didn't get caught. You're in a cult. We'll explain it to you later.
I'm not looking for any publicity. I give them publicity. They say, well, thank you very much, but it's okay.
Now, this is in response to some like Trump account, I think, contribution that Dell's had made. That was ostensibly the reason. But then you look at the trading activity, and the people who were purchasing on behalf of Trump bought Dell $5 million worth on February 10th. And then more.
This is called a quid pro quo. Michael Dell donates, how many billions was it? Michael Dell donates billions of dollars for these funds for kids born after like 2026. They get $1,000. I forget what they're called. They're probably called like the Trump Freedom Fund or some dumb shit like that. Trump goes and talks about how great Dell is, says it publicly, tweets about it, and the stock jumps 12% that day. How much do you think Michael Dell increased his net worth that day? This is blatantly a quid pro quo. Market manipulation. And if you don't care about the corruption part of it, what I would like you to at least recognize is how unsecure and phony our markets are. That somebody can go give Trump billions of dollars, he can give them good publicity, and they can get all that money right back. Just by Trump saying, go buy a Dell, they're great. I don't even know if people went out and bought them. Because that's not, it's one thing if a bunch of people went out and bought Dell computers and that's why their stocks went up, but it wouldn't go up 12% the next day because they wouldn't report those numbers. These would be quarterly reports. Nobody knows what happened the next day. These are all people who didn't go out and buy a Dell. They went out and bought Dell stock. They went out and hyped a stock. He didn't help them sell more products. That's not what they wanted anyways. They wanted their stock price to go up. Why? Because all the people that run Dell make all of their money based on stock.
More on March 2nd, more on March 11th, more on March 23rd. And then he endorses a little bit later, and you can see what happened to the stock price. This was an incredible trade, ladies and gentlemen. Double your money in a few months. I mean, you kind of don't see big opportunities like that unless you're, I guess, the president. Here's another great trade. This was highlighted by Judd Legume. He went through some of these things. I'm going to be referencing some of his work here. So
that's a really good point, actually. William said DJT did the same when Tesla was tanking. Remember when he filmed an infomercial at the White House with Tesla cars? And he drove one. He's like, this is super cool. And then he said, I'm totally buying one of these for me to drive. Every president has done the same thing. Never, not once ever. Spirit Seeker, give me the name of one president who has done this and pick the stock that they did this with. If every president has done this, tell me which president did it, what stock they invested in, and then when they made, or like what comment they made publicly about that company. Go ahead. Oh yeah, sorry, I meant Tesla. I'm sorry.
Below, but I pulled the specific trades and put it on a chart so you can see exactly where the purchases were. This is Micron Technology. And you can see here, the purchases are in the green arrows. And all of these...
Spirit Seeker, sorry, when I ask you specific questions, you have to answer them or else you get muted for 5 minutes. I need the name of the president and the name of the stock. I don't need more explanations that people have money. I need the name of the president and the name of the stock and how they manipulated. Otherwise, what you're saying doesn't make any sense, right? Anybody can do it. Anybody here can give it. In fact, I'll challenge every mag in the chat. Find any president in the history of this country who pumped a stock and bought the stock before they pumped the stock. We'll wait.
Purchases culminated in the president talking about Micron as an incredible company, and then all of a sudden the stock goes parabolic after.
We're a tool of the elite. Who the fuck do you think's making all this money, Spirit? Who the fuck is getting all this money? Us? It's the elite. We're the tool of the elite. When you criticize the elite, Spirit says, you're a tool of the elite. Yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total fucking sense. That we're criticizing the corruption where elite rich people are doubling their money. And you're like, yeah, you're on their side. For sure. For sure.
That, I mean, just has this incredible run.
Spirit, last chance. I need the name of a president. Mods, will you watch Spirit's comments? Spirit, your next comment needs to be the name of a president and the stock, or we mute you for 5 minutes, and then you can come back.
Right after the president's endorsement, which sounds like this.
I just left the head of Micron It's one of the hottest companies.
Now, I'll be honest, he kind of called this one like crazy. Like, look at this run up right after that. Almost called the bottom exactly. And I guess the question is, does he know something here? Is it the endorsement itself that was, caused it to run like that? Should we view it as advice when the president talks positively about a company to go invest in it? I mean, these are all questions that come to mind when you see a chart like this. But not everything is so clear cut. Black and white, right? Where the president...
Man, we got rid of Spirit Airlines and now Spirit from the chat. Sorry, Spirit Seeker. Going out with your favorite airline.
The president talks, and then it just goes to the moon. Before you set up your Trump stock tracker account, it's worth looking at a couple examples where things don't go so well. I want to show you one of the...
Roly Poly said Ted Cruz had a little slip up when he said Trump accounts could lead to the privatization of Social Security. Bingo. Not a slip up. Yeah, I guess a slip up. He accidentally told the truth.
It's kind of bad ones. This is Thermo Fisher. So on March 11th, the White House announces that President Trump participates in a site visit at Thermo Fisher Scientific. This is March 11th.
Some great information about this incredible company, please.
And when you go to his disclosures, turns out he had been buying Thermo Fisher prior to that, including, by the way, on March 11th. So there's a purchase on the same day as the president's actual visit. The purchase, you can see there, March 11th, and it was apparently for $15,000 to $50,000. The nature of these disclosures is they don't tell you exactly how much was purchased. They just give you a range. But when you line these up on the actual trading activity, this actually is a pretty bad trade. Like, this does not end up going well. That, of course, doesn't mean it wasn't corrupt. Just like when things go well, it doesn't necessarily mean it was corrupt. But it's worth emphasizing that, like, some of the time, there's just money being lost here. And then
some of you are referencing Ulysses S. Grant. So the folks in here that said every president does this, they went all the way back to Ulysses S. Grant in 1869. There was a scheme by Jay Gould and Jim Fisk to corner the gold market. And President Grant got pulled into it because his brother-in-law was involved, and the administration ended up selling government gold to stop the manipulation. So he was involved, did not profit from it. That's the closest they could come up. Yeah, that's the closest. Of 1869 is the only example anybody can come up with, and it's not this. Once again, Donald Trump stands alone in his corruption. We'll make a new Mount Rushmore of corruption, and it'll just be his dumb, bloated face.
Now let's talk about probably, I think, the most egregious example and also the funniest one. This is Palantir. So Trump famously tweeted out the stock ticker symbol of Palantir Technologies, like PLTR, has proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment. Just ask our enemies. President DJT. So everyone thought this was really weird and then proven to have great...
Sorry. Why would you tweet that? Can one of our MAGA friends tell us why he would tweet that? Why he would use the stock symbol? What purpose is this for? Did we miss you on TikTok? Sorry, Matt. TikTok banned me. So talk to TikTok. They think I'm a national security threat. Does anybody have an explanation for this other than he's manipulating?
Warfighting capabilities and equipment.
Is this guy my whole life, Donald Trump? No, I just do this for work. Outside of work, I enjoy getting outside. I like to golf. I enjoy fishing from time to time. I love being outdoors. And sometimes when I'm outdoors, I find a secluded spot and I fuck your dad.
Ask our enemies. President DJT. So everyone thought this was really weird, and then it gets weirder when you realize the president was a bag holder in this stock. Like,
what? He had stock? What? No, he didn't. Not Donald Trump. He didn't have stock in a company he was tweeting about.
He had bought high and then started selling low when the stock went down. Which is, always a good move. It starts buying when it rallies as it goes up, and then it dips way down. And this little moment is when the president shills the stock, which I think is, really bad.
All right. He's trying to be remember, he's a great businessman. Buys the stock, crashes. Oh, fuck, I'm losing money. I better go manipulate the markets, and immediately Cool, huh?
I mean, again, maybe he had no idea he was sitting on a bag of Palantir that had just dropped. That's definitely possible. But the record is just pretty ugly here, I would say. Where, buy all-time high, sell low, buy more, shill at the lows, and then it keeps kind of going lower. I mean, I don't really know what this says, but I don't know. If it is our president, I don't know that he's a great stock trader. If it's a third party, I think the third party is not necessarily, a great stock trader. But this just all looks really ugly. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see. You don't want to wonder whether your president is...
You're overestimating MAGA here, Coffee. I think this isn't as simple for them to see as it should be. I'm looking at the chat right now, and it seems like this is actually difficult for them.
Is, tweeting about something because he's pumping the bags of stock portfolio, or if he actually means something. And this is the most lukewarm take. I mean, you noticed when the president was calling out Congress, everybody stood up, including Congress, because it's just an undeniably obvious position to hold. No one could possibly disagree with the idea that you do not want corruption, right? And so that's why we're giving the biggest worm award to Jim Cramer today, ladies and gentlemen, because this guy...
We showed this yesterday, but this is unfucking believable. If you're not paying attention right now, if you're not watching your phone, you're just in your ears, now's a good time to look at your screen, and if you missed it yesterday, and watch Jim Cramer try and explain this.
Had the opportunity to call this out. I mean, just basic stuff like, hey, maybe the president shouldn't trade stocks. And not only is that an obvious take, this is also a segment called Squawk on the Street in CNBC. I mean, their job is to talk about
hold on real quick. Sorry. Spirit Seeker, now that you're back, you've been gone for 5 minutes. I'm going to need your next comment needs to be the name of the president and the stock. And if you don't give us the name of the president and the stock, mods, you are free to block Spirit Seeker for, let's double the time, 10 minutes, wherever we can do, whatever's further than 5 minutes. So here you go, Spirit Seeker, now that you're back.
Squawk on the street. The whole idea is you're talking about the scuttlebutt. You're talking about the opinions of the day. And all of a sudden, this slow ball down the center of the plate, why do you have to do? What do you say?
But the president, the U.S. government got in. He could sell it and give that
and
the number.
According to the filings, the president's been trading some intel in the quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, trade.
Got nothing to say about
Yeah. Did the guy short circuit? I mean, is he falling apart? The last brain cells of Jim Cramer dying in slow motion?
It might have been gone a while ago. Alexandria said, RTP, you should change your name to FYD. Fuck your dad. Yeah, that's not bad.
Trade.
Yeah, trade.
I mean, speak, Jim. I like how this guy, he has a big old fat smile on his face. He knows this is uncomfortable for Jimmy.
But
yeah. All right, don't worry. We're not having technical difficulties here, everybody, but we got to go.
Wow. And they just closed the segment like that? Like, hey, Jim Cramer short circuits live.
Honestly, I think somebody said Luke Beasley thought he was having a medical episode. I hope somebody checked. He might have been. Like, it seems like he had nothing to say, but I hope they checked. It was worrisome.
On air when asked about presidential trades, and we just go to break? Like, isn't this Squawk on the Street? Don't we discuss? That's the whole...
That's just how MAGA communicates with each other. Oh, that's it does feel like that sometimes. Maverick, what did I just say? Is Maverick still here? Maverick, can you just can you interpret this, please? Can you just let us know what I said there? I'm sure it was something.
Idea of the entire show. That's why this show literally exists. Unbelievable.
We gotta go.
Jim, we'll see you tonight.
I thought we were the financial news guys. Are we afraid to talk about financial news?
It sounded like the
president.
Sims.
All of a sudden, we're not willing to talk about it. That's off limits. Making fun of Nancy Pelosi, that we all stand up for. Everybody stands up for making fun of Nancy Pelosi, myself included. But all of a sudden, it's the president. We can't talk about it. What's going on, guys? Is this North Korea? I mean, what's happening? You ask for comments from the two groups, and it's like very similar. Both say, hey, we have nothing to do with it. I don't know why we don't just treat apples to apples here, right? So yeah, I just thought this was obviously dumb. I mean, when you investigate it, it looks like some of these trades go great. Some of them go terrible, like Palantir. You know, some of the Thermo Fisher ones are not good. Dell Technologies did go well. Micron Technology went really well. It's just kind of a mixed bag, but an ugly one. You know, I personally don't want presidents, Congress people, anyone in Washington should not be holding anything other than an index fund. Why should these people be able to pick stocks if they're regulating the industry that those stocks are in? Doesn't make sense to me, but I think things are a bit different in Washington.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's almost like it's a cult. I want to talk about cults for a minute, but also as a way to introduce our next topic. I guess I can be accused of this, and a lot of us, I'm going to go solo because I'm not going to have a screen for a minute, can be accused of overusing the word cult. I do think that growing up in a cult, and those that I grew up with in the cult don't think that they're in a cult. Those that are still in, they would deny that it's a cult, and they would get as mad as MAGA gets when we say that you're in a cult. And when we say that you're in a cult, all I'm really trying to say is like you have this ideology and this reality that is not real. And the way that cults operate is they manipulate you into believing things that it may not have evidence. And then in order to continue to get you to believe those things, they then have to attack any sort of criticism from outside of that cult. The first thing you do, and this can be said also for a lot of you will recognize this in like if you've ever had a relationship with a narcissist. They're very similar. But the start of any cult is the love bombing. If you remember early on, Donald Trump, I mean, how often did Donald Trump go into a place and I love my African Americans. I love Iowa farmers. I love John Deere tractors. It's all love. We're all in this room together. We're all having a great time. We all feel good. When I was a recruiter for my cult, which was the Mormon cult, I served I think it's crazy. I think I was manipulated into donating 2 years of my time and $10,000 to move to Spokane, Washington, to go door to door and get people into my cult. And we were taught how to do it. And when you look back on how I was taught to do it, it's really interesting. We had a set of we call them lessons, but it's basically presentations that you would give to anybody that you meet. And there was, I don't remember how many there were. I think there were like 5, maybe. We called them discussions, but they were just lesson plans. And so you introduce first like the history of the Mormon Church, which is simply like Joseph Smith was this guy who really wanted to know which church was true, and so he prayed about it, and God told him no church was true, and then God led him to these buried golden plates, like it was like a book with gold pages. They called them golden plates, and written on those plates was a language that Joseph Smith didn't understand, which then they told us was Reformed Egyptian. And by the power of God, he was able to translate those, and it became the Book of Mormon, which is another testament of Christ that like goes hand in hand with the Bible to prove that after Jesus died, he came to America and he visited the people on the American continent, and he said that he would build up his church here on the American continent, and that's basically the crux of the religion. So that's what you teach. But at the end of that, what you teach them is you tell them this great big feel-good story, and you connect with them. Like, how do you know which church is true? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And you're like, you got to pray about it, just like Joseph Smith did. And then you try and pray with them like right then. And you direct the prayer. You say the right words, and you tell them about the prayer. And then the next time you come, or you do the prayer with them, you tell them like, I want this person to pray about what we talked about today, and if they feel right, like they can meet with us again. Then the next time you go meet with them, you're supposed to bring somebody else. You bring somebody from like their local congregation, and you bring that person. And that person's job is to shower them with attention, affection, like validation, and establish trust outside of these two people, because this is just their neighbor. This is somebody that lives just like them. And then you invite that person to speak, and they tell you how true this stuff is. And then eventually, like any cult, you wind up isolated, and not isolated from the people inside the cult. That becomes your entire system, and you'll recognize this same type of behavior again if you've dated a narcissist, or if you know somebody who's dated a narcissist, and you'll see them. They just love bomb, and then because you feel all these strong feelings of love, they say like, what you're feeling is real. All those feelings are real. You know what's not real? All these people telling you like, whoa, chill. This is weird. Like you're isolating. And then the people that tell you to chill or that this is kind of crazy, those become the enemies. And then they're like, oh, it's the people that are asking you to doubt your feelings. You know what you feel. You don't need to hear from them. They shouldn't be involved in this. Like they're miserable and they want you to be miserable. So then you wind up isolating yourself from any outside influence, and you wind up with this group of people and you have groupthink. And collectively you tell each other, I'm happy, you're happy, we're also happy. Oh, this is great. We know all this stuff. And everybody else outside of there, they just don't recognize it. They don't recognize that what we feel and what we believe is true. And that's what the MAGA cult has done to you. You're all in this now. Who do you hate? Besides us, Trump. Everybody. Who do you run out of your party? Anybody critical of Trump. What happens every time I play a clip from CNN or MSNBC? You guys come up with scripted answers. You immediately look at a logo and you say, that logo hates us, so we won't listen to them. If I play a AOC clip, she's just a bartender. I show an Elizabeth Warren clip, Pocahontas. I show a Bernie Sanders clip. He's owned by the pharmaceutical industry. Kami, Rashida, Ilhan Omar. Oh, she's a radical Muslim. You all say the exact same thing every time. It's groupthink. You've been isolated from truth. They do that on purpose. They pull you away from any influence that would change your thinking at all. And what you think is you being like open-minded. Like, I was so open-minded that I believed this stuff. And if you guys would just be open-minded, you would believe like us. You have completely obliterated critical thinking to the point where we get very confused because we're watching you like from 2 years ago when Trump was campaigning. We watched all the stuff that you guys were like, this matters to me so much. It matters to me so much that we have no new wars. It matters to me so much that we make America healthy again. It matters to us that we need to build up the middle class. And then they just do the exact opposite and you just change your opinion. Why? Because you don't actually have opinions. You follow the leader and we're the bad guys. And what you're all unified around, and you can see it in this chat every fucking day, the one unifying feature of this chat with MAGA is me. I'm what you unify around. Your hatred of me and the information that I'm giving out. And it's not even real hatred. It's a physical response for you. This is where you don't realize the programming. You now have a response. My counter information registers in your brain because of how you've been conditioned as a threat. And it activates fight or flight with you. And you can watch the fight or flight in real fucking time. There's two responses. Fuck this guy, I'm leaving, this is crazy, I'm not going to listen anymore. Or, fuck you, you're a liar, you're a shill for the deep state. Somebody said, I'm a shill for the elites. It's either attack, fight, or flight, you run. What it never is, ever fucking ever, is I'm going to go up and I'm going to have a good faith conversation with this guy, and we're going to we're going to compare facts, and then we're going to get to the right answer. That's why we say it's a cult. It operates in literally the exact same way. And then what they do is they start adding and with this, Trump does this, you add urgency. Think of everything Trump says. You got to do this now. Go out and vote now. Send me money now. We have to bomb Iran now. We have to increase our military spending now. We need to increase the ICE budget now. Everything is a crisis. It's all apocalyptic thinking. If we lose this election, the world is over. And in all fairness, that happens across the board when it comes to politics. And there's a lot of groupthink that can happen on both sides. The main difference with this groupthink versus any groupthink I can ever remember is Donald Trump being the unifying figure and your ability to just abandon all principles. So for me, like in my cult, the stress and the urgency were like, I've told this before, but I lived in Utah. There was a drought. So there was always something to fast about. There was always something that on a Sunday we would need to fast about. We would donate money to the church, and we would all collectively together fast and pray that something would happen, whatever it was. And there was always something urgent. There was always some sort of attack on the church. Well, gay marriage was a huge one. Like, oh, there's this attack. We all need to fast and pray that gay marriage won't be approved because that's an attack on our church. Notice that. Notice, like, if I go show any clip of Trump today, he's going to tell you that there's some sort of like urgent thing that only he can solve. And then the last part where it becomes a cult and not groupthink. And for those of you who are correctly identifying that, like, in politics, there is groupthink and they use these type of tactics. The last part of a real cult is a charismatic leader holding control over everything. And that's what you have. And that's what makes you different than the Democrats. That's what makes you different from the Republican Party that elected John McCain and Mitt Romney. Is this one unifying figure who is trusted above all. So you can run out like your best members of Congress, your most honest members of Congress, if they criticize Donald Trump. Now, there are people around Donald Trump, and this is to our next topic, who have recognized that cult control. And they want what Donald Trump has, which is total control over the masses. And the people that want total control over the masses are these tech oligarchs. And they've said it a million times. I think that AI with these tech oligarchs is the tool they're going to try to use to turn the entire world into a cult. They just want a bunch of sheep going along, and it's getting pretty obvious. You can even see the pushback, but this is the CEO of Google at the University of Arizona last December talking about AI. And watch how confidently they say this, because what he sees as the CEO of Google is dollar signs. And what he needs is all these people graduating college. Is this from last December? That says last December, but I think this was actually before. I think that's just his comment. I actually think this was recently. Somebody can tell me on that, because the December wouldn't have been graduation. But what he sees is dollar signs, and he wants the adoption of AI so that they can pay people less. And he's going to tell all these college students, hey, this is coming for you. And why? Why on earth? If you're speaking to college graduates, would you stand up there giving a commencement speech and talk about a technology that will take away a lot of the jobs that they're looking for right now as college graduates? Why would you do that other than to shape the narrative and shape the culture to just blindly accept AI, which is what MAGA is doing now? They're just blindly accepting that AI is the future and it will take over. Because you're kind of used to that. You're kind of used to not really understanding anything Trump's doing. You're calling everything 5D chess because there doesn't seem to be a plan. When he pivots his position or his policy on a dime, you go, oh, this is the 5D chess thing. This is that 5D chess thing. I'm just going to accept it and I'm going to go with it. And that's how they want you to act. And they've got kind of this one opportunity. Under this administration, they have an opportunity to completely obliterate democracy. And I'm not saying that lightly. Like, I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic here. I'm telling you something that is true, and you can decide whether or not they're going to accomplish it. But what you cannot argue with is the fact that the people who are pushing AI, the most prominent people pushing AI, want to end democracy, and they want control, and they want an oligarchy, and they think that the people running the oligarchy should be these technocrats, these people that run tech companies. That is true. Whether or not you think Donald Trump's in on it, we could argue that. But they have that agenda, and they are giving Trump money. And I'll show you the evidence of that here in a minute. But the people with the agenda to end democracy and take control of this country are the ones funding Donald Trump the most, and they're also the ones pushing AI.
Last December, Time magazine selected its Person of the Year for 2025. And this time, it was the architects of artificial intelligence. Interesting. It will touch every profession, every classroom, every hospital, every laboratory, every person, and every relationship you have. I know what many of you are feeling about that. I can hear you. There is a fear. We do not know the precise contours of what this transformation will look like.
What? That is fucking crazy. This is what you get when you have a cult. Something's on the horizon, We don't know what it's going to do, but you all have to accept it. We have no plan for AI. We have no plan for your jobs. We don't even know what this is going to look like, but you must accept it. Who the fuck is he? Who the fuck are these tech oligarchs that we just have to say, oh, word? Oh, it's coming. We just have to accept it? Okay. Now, who does do that? People who are used to like just being told what the fuck to do, what the fuck to think, and not have to have a plan. Oh, my healthcare plan's coming in 2 weeks. 10 years later, no fucking healthcare plan. What the fuck is, like, why the fuck are we listening to this? Why are we not requiring them to have a plan? Sorry, I missed a couple comments here. Joel said you're doing it right when TikTok bans you. Melanie said CTR, RTP. I love that. CTR is means choose the right. If you're not Mormon, when you were kids, you used to get, when you got baptized, you get these little rings that said CTR on them. Roly Poly Bolo said MAGA is just textbook Stockholm Syndrome. I think it's more, I don't even think it's Stockholm Syndrome. I mean, Stockholm Syndrome is very similar. I think it's more aptly compared to a cult. This guy Fox said Trump endorsed that lunatic Paxton over Cornyn in Texas. Welcome, Senator Tallarico. Unbelievable.
Choose a diversity of perspectives, including, let me add, and if you'd let me make this point, please.
Can I just point out real quick that while we're talking about AI, and again, we're talking about like the cult of MAGA, what did I tell you would happen when I started giving you them uncomfortable information? 2 options, fight or flight. Some people left. Other people are just like hurling insults at me. This is what happens when you're confronted with something that you don't understand. It makes you mad. And this is called conditioning. When I deconstructed from a religion, I don't think people understand necessarily what that means. When you deconstruct from a religion, from a high demand religion or a cult, you legitimately have to go, every time you have a thought, you have to figure out where the fuck that came from. When you have a feeling, you have to figure out where the fuck that came from. When you're fearful, when you're sad, when you're happy, you have to figure out why your body is reacting that way, because you've been so conditioned to react in a certain way that it takes years to deprogram. And you guys are going to have to deprogram, and a lot of you aren't. A lot of you are just going to die fucking dumb. You're just going to die, and you're like, oh, nobody understood Trump. He was the greatest president of my lifetime. And they're like, Jesus Christ. The fuck, man. Everybody else will just know that he was horrific. And you'll be like, oh, it's still, he was great. Just like the people that die believing in David Koresh. If you go watch that Netflix series on the Branch Davidians and the Waco firefight where they killed all those Branch Davidians, the saddest part of that entire documentary to me is at the end when they're talking about some of the Branch Davidians who got out before the fire started, before they all died, and they're like, no, David Koresh really was Jesus, though. Like, we still believe all that stuff. He was right. Like, you just watched all your friends and family die. You watched, and it's 30 years later, and you know the truth. You know exactly what happened, and you still believe it. That'll be you, just like at the end of your life. And some of you will wake up. But the reality is, if you are a Trump voter now and you're still buying this shit, in the near future, you're going to either have to do real work on yourself to deconstruct, or you're going to wind up in just like a new cult. And you'll just live your life that way, or you'll hold on to this cult as it just dwindles in membership, and there'll be like 8 of you left, and you'll be like, oh, Donald Trump was the greatest. Our world would have been saved if everybody just believed Donald.
If you don't care about science, that's okay, because AI is going to touch everything else as well. Whatever path you
AI is not science. Why is AI science? It's a replacement for human intelligence.
choose, AI will become part of how work is done. If you have a problem in the world you want to solve, you can now assemble a team of AI agents to help you with the parts that you could never.
AI is science. What do you mean it's science? Explain to me how what type of science is AI? It's programming. I guess computer science, is that what you're saying? It's computer science. Like it takes human learning, human knowledge, and it compiles it, and it tries to spit out a human sounding answer. Dolphin said, because Jen asked for extra credit from us nerds. Thank you, Dolphin.
Never accomplish on your own. Let me give you some advice. First, find a way to say yes. And thank you very much and good.
Yeah, first, just figure out a way to ignore all your intuitions and say yes and let AI win. These are the people. Why are we listening to these people? There it is. There's the cult in real time. Trump 2028. Yeah, there it is. Fight or flight. Oh, I don't understand any of this. I'm gonna chant Trump. Why are we listening to these people? Here's another out of touch CEO. I think this was Middle Tennessee State. This is fucking insane. This is Scott Borchetta. He is. Got to write down where he was from. Let me look this up real quick. Can't remember where he's a CEO of. Borchetta. He's a CEO of Big Machine Records. Now this is tough. This is tough to watch because he's just like, I'm smarter than you, and you all have to listen to me. Lee said for the squeeze, thank you. Alexander said for Jen's date outfits. Ooh, lovely.
Rewrote the economics. Social media streaming rewrote the economics. Social media rewrote the discovery model. AI is rewriting production as we sit here. I know it. Deal with it. Like I said, it's a tool. Hey.
Deal with it. Deal with it. That guy's speaking at a college commencement ceremony, but he isn't speaking to the crowd that's booing him. He's speaking to MAGA. He's clearly speaking to the people that are already in a cult. I mean, anybody who's adopting AI, these tech CEOs don't give a fuck about MAGA. They don't give a fuck about any of these politics. They just see a large population that will believe fucking anything, and they're like, this is our opportunity. They don't really need, they don't need MAGA to agree with them. They just need Donald Trump to give them all the tools they need to end democracy, and then we're stuck. Shane said, diet is the problem, not the solution. MAGA.
Like I said, you can hear me now, or you can pay me later.
That's sick.
Hey, then do something about it, okay? It's a tool. Make it work for you.
Yeah. I don't even know what that part meant. Like, you can hear me now or pay me later. I don't know what he meant by that. This is why we don't like billionaires. They're completely out of touch. They don't view any of us as human. We're all just a dollar sign to them. And not even enough of a dollar sign to matter on an individual level. They don't care. They just view us all as pawns in their game to take over the world. Then this happened. And I'm showing these at college commencements because, like, this is who's going to have to fight this. We're not going to have a bunch of 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds fighting this. You all know, if you're in that age bracket and you're here, some of you are still critically thinking, but you know that many of your friends gave up critical thinking years ago. Here's more booing from college graduates. I could only find this dude's clip, Fear Buck, and he put music behind it, I think. I don't think this is part of the ceremony, but sorry.
Everyone who is standing, here's what's happening. We're using a new AI system as our reader.
I agree with that. Who said that? I don't think AI is going away. Whimsical by Shelley. How we're attacking grads with this BS is wild behavior. They sound like threats. Yeah, AI is a useful tool. I use it all the time. I think what people are booing is them saying, like, you have to be complicit. AI is in charge now. AI will take your job, or not complicit. You don't have to comply. You don't have to just bend over. Like, AI doesn't have to take every job. We don't have to adopt AI with everything. I think that's what they're booing, but that's a good point.
So that is a lesson learned for us. What we were able to do, though, is each of you were able to walk the stage and get a picture, which is what I would hope would be the most meaningful.
This generation has to be so. Do we have anybody that's from this generation? They've got to be so tired of being talked down to by idiots who can't see the reality. Their commencement was ruined because they used an AI feature to do what? To name fucking names, to read names. How fucking lazy are these folks that they chose to use AI to read out the names and then have the audacity to tell the people who were upset about it because their name didn't get read when they walked, well, you should be grateful that you got to walk on stage and get a picture. Don't tell them to be grateful. Just get up there and say, we fucked up. We fucked up. Read them again. Do something. But they've got to be so tired of being talked down to by these self-important idiots who think like AI is the future. We have to adopt it.
So I'm going to have to disappoint many of you. We will not be able to walk the stage a second time in order to have the name on the screen. You've handed over your cards, so we won't be able to do that. I am so sorry. There's plenty of opportunities, I hope, to take some really good pictures and to celebrate you with your loved ones as well.
I love this. I love the pushback. And like, again, AI can be useful. Automation can be useful. But we don't have to just wholesale accept this. And the reason I showed those and this reaction is because I think I know I was raised by parents who were just kind of like cucky to capitalism. They're like, this is like, you can't stop this. You can't do anything about it. So just make the best of it. And I think that the conservatives in general, that's kind of their attitude. And I think in a lot of ways that can make your life more simple. I think in a lot of ways that can lead you to have potentially a happier surface level life where like things just don't get to you. And I think some people are wired differently, but that's what a conservative is. A conservative is somebody who doesn't really do a lot of critical thinking, doesn't really want things to change. Is just comfortable with where things are. And because they're comfortable with where things are, they don't want anything to change because that disrupts their comfort. And so this type of messaging works on conservatives, and conservatives, you need to be aware of that. And again, I don't know that it's like there's a right and wrong way to live through your life. I think there's something to be said for people who don't let a lot of things affect them. I'm not very good at that. Like I have those for my friends here with ADHD, our neurospicy friends, like injustice eats at us. It can really fuck up your mind. And like, even if the injustice isn't directed at you, watching injustice happen to other people and then watching people ignore that injustice, like there's just something inside of you that fires. We have, if you have ADHD and you're familiar with it, there's something called rejection sensitivity disorder. And a lot of the ways that things light up our brains are the same as pain receptors. So if you have somebody in your life that you love that has ADHD and you wonder, like, man, sometimes they get really upset about stuff that I don't understand because that's manifesting in their brain as pain. It doesn't necessarily hurt them, but it's the same thing. The same way that those that react with fight or flight when I bring up that somebody, like when I'm critical of Trump, that's the same thing with people with ADHD when they see an injustice. And so that's why you'll see a lot of people, like the more progressive people, you'll see a lot of people with like ADHD or ADD or OCD or autism, or do we say Asperger's anymore? I don't remember if that's allowed. I don't even know if that's how it's diagnosed anymore. But that's why you see that disconnect. And that's just a reality of the difference between conservatives and progressives. And it will always be a reality that some people will live their life more on a surface level where things don't impact them and others won't. But when it comes to where we're at now and this point in history, this is the time for maybe the progressives in this world to be like, hey, we've got to put a stop to this because this could be a problem. I think there's a time and a place for conservatives and those who say you worry about too much shit. I think there's a time and a place for conservatives to be right about that. Like, yes, I sometimes get too worked up about shit that I don't really need to be that worked up about. And I think some of the people in my life who live differently and their brains operate differently sometimes come to me and they're like, hey man, like, I get it. I get that you're frustrated that it's affecting your life in a way that it doesn't need to affect your life. But right now is one of those times because there is definitely a group of people who are trying to use this moment and the cucked attitude of MAGA to Donald Trump, and they're trying to take advantage of that. And John Oliver talked about this, I think it was a couple years ago when he was talking about J.D. Vance. I thought this was a good way to introduce Peter Thiel and those who are behind the scenes pulling the strings.
Vance has clearly picked a side between blaming the elites of the Democratic Party and I
get worked up over everything. A lot of things. I will absolutely admit I get worked up more than most people. It's why this job works for me. I can express my emotions in whatever way I choose, and it does work for me. But I agree with that.
Appointing Republicans, and some of that may have to do with his mentor, Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal and Palantir, and a man who looks like he got stuck trying to anamorph between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Vance has said of Thiel that if there's something interesting going on and I want to bounce ideas off of a very fascinating and knowledgeable person, I'll give him a call, which is worrying given Thiel holds some troubling views. In 2009, he wrote that he no longer believed that freedom and democracy were compatible.
What do we do with that? What do we do with the fact that not only Peter Thiel, but Peter Thiel's lapdog, J.D. Vance, that Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, that, what's that other weird-ass guy's name? What's the weird guy's name? Somebody mentioned him earlier that, not from Palantir, not Joe Lonsdale. You got Joe Lonsdale, but what's that other, I don't know, he kind of looks like Plato, and he has that other tech company. Shit, why am I Palmer Lackey? They all believe this. They don't believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. What do we do with these? Are the people that are funding your movement. These are the people that funded the MAGA movement. They're largely responsible for Donald Trump's return to the presidency. How do you square that? You think they just gave up on this because Donald Trump's so amazing? They're like, oh, never mind. Freedom and democracy are compatible now that Donald Trump will be president for 4 years.
And more recently called the quest for diversity very evil, as well as giving multiple lectures around the idea that critics of technology or AI are legionnaires of the Antichrist.
Is that not exactly what we just talked about? If you criticize AI, if you criticize the adoption of AI, you're legionnaires of the Antichrist. Just comply. Just comply, they say. Peter Thiel's in a cult. They have a leader. His name's Curtis Yarvin. This is legitimate. All these people pushing AI, they are legitimately in a fucking cult, and they're open about it. They live and operate inside of a cult, and they're trying to get the cult to take over.
Thiel is a huge influence on Vance, who's attributed pretty much his entire career to Thiel's mentorship. They met when Thiel spoke at Yale, when Vance was a student, and Thiel later wound up hiring him and eventually investing in his venture capital firm. He then backed Vance's 2022 Senate campaign with, at that point, the largest amount given to a single candidate in congressional history. Oh. Vance has clearly picked a side.
Great. Here's Peter Thiel quite a few years ago speaking at the Harvard Institute. You tell me if this is worrying to you. Unless you're a conservative, you're just like, everything will work out.
Ever a decision gets made to sell a business, you are...
Oh, sorry. This is him talking about the founders of a business. And he's giving business advice here. But the reason I think that this is important is because the businesses that he has funded, the businesses that he owns, they are now interwoven with the government. And so a lot of people might think that because the government is using things like Palantir, that the government has control. But these are all Peter Thiel troglodytes. I don't know what we want to call them. Little Peter Thiel clones. And this is the advice that he's given them. So don't think for 1 second that our government has control over Palantir, because they don't. Don't think for 1 second that Palantir can't see everything our government can see. There is nothing in your life that Palantir can't see. And they are a private company run by Alex Karp, who doesn't believe in democracy, who believes that these technocrats should run everything. And the way that you get rid of democracy is you infiltrate it. You infiltrate the highest levels of government. And they're there. And if we don't very quickly root these people out, democracy ends.
Often making the decision to stop the innovation cycle in it. And one of the questions that I spend a lot of time thinking about as a venture capitalist is how these companies get founded, how long does the founding period last? And I think the founding period is the period when you have innovation. And once that's over, it sort of becomes a normal business that runs in a bureaucratic, mechanistic sort of a way. And it's a very important question, how long can one enable the founding in these companies to last? The classic example where people sort of cut the founding off too early, I would argue, would be Apple, where the judgment call the board at Apple in 1985 made was that computers were like Pepsi. It was just a marketing thing. There's going to be no more innovation in the computer industry. You could get rid of the founder, and you could replace the founder with sort of a someone who'd run the business in a much more predictable, mechanistic sort of a way. And that turned out to be a bit of a mistake. It's unusual for the founder ever to come back once these mistakes are made. Sort of miraculously, Jobs came back and then you saw another 14 years of innovation, at least through 2011 in the case of Apple. And so I do think the businesses that are led by founders are the ones that are able to innovate. The ones that are not led by founders are generally not able to innovate. And if you are in favor of innovation, you have to figure out ways for founders to stay in control as long as possible and to avoid selling a business or substituting someone other than the founder and a CEO.
Is Alex Karp, the founder and the CEO of Palantir, has he relinquished any control? They're the skeleton of our basically of our software technology of this government. Has he relinquished any control? No. We've given control to these people already. Our space program, our satellites. Tomorrow we're gonna cover a story. Unfortunately, we have to watch a Get Ready With Me with Ashley St. Clair tomorrow, so be prepared to not watch your screen. Where she is unloading on Elon Musk and how he was bragging to her about how he would use the space technology to legitimately change votes in elections. And we'll dig into that and see how close we can get to confirming any of her claims, which I haven't done yet. So I'm not spoiling it or saying that I can confirm it or not, but we're going to cover it tomorrow. But our space program has been handed to Elon Musk, who was part of the PayPal mafia with Peter Thiel. Palantir, whose job it is now basically to surveil all of us. That's been handed over by the government to a private business. If they can control, if they can get control of our military, which they're getting pretty close, you don't think they'll just run with it? If they can control our space program, if they can control our satellites, if they can control our internet, they can control, I'm going to be honest, I don't feel super safe as somebody who is regularly critical of the government. I don't feel super safe knowing that Palantir can watch every single thing that I do. Even if I want to set up security around my house, like they're going to be able to see all my webcams. They're going to be able to see a doorbell cam or an outdoor camera. They're going to get access to all this stuff. While we're busy arguing about Donald Trump, and I think that it matters, he's busy handing this over to these tech oligarchs. And for the record, I don't think he knows he's doing it. I think he's an idiot. I don't think Donald Trump would hand over power. That's why they so openly fillet him. That's why you see these powerful people go to the White House and treat Donald Trump like Kim Jong-un. It's not real. They're faking it. They're faking it because they know if they praise him, they can do whatever they want. And Donald Trump has confirmed that time and time again. It was just a couple months ago. He said, I don't even remember who he was talking about, but he was like, I don't care what kind of person somebody is. As long as they like me, like I'm going to be loyal to them. That's why they all saw this opportunity with Donald Trump. It's not because he's brilliant. It's because he's stupid. It's because with flattery and with gifts and with money, he'll hand over the reins of the government. And that's their plan. It's been their plan all along. I don't know. I don't know how this even ends. Like, I do think, for the record, I do think you can get rid of these people. I don't think they're as powerful as they think they are. Palantir is being banned all across the European Union. Other countries are waking up and going, whoa, no. But we're going to need some big changes in the midterms. And then we're going to have to start going after these contracts. And it's going to be so fucking weird. Let's just say Democrats win the House and the Senate. You know how strange it's going to be to sit here in these lives and watch conservatives like defending Palantir and the deep state? It's going to be so strange. We'll be like, Democrats will be like, we're going to get Palantir out of the government. And we'll have legitimately conservatives like, no, you're just doing this because you hate Trump. And you'll be defending the deep state, these technocrats who want to end democracy. And because Trump put them there, you'll just blindly defend it. So we're going to have to argue with you guys about whether or not Palantir should have unfettered access to every camera, every bit of data that we have, and they can store it on their own, and we have no oversight. And it'll be weird. The same people here today arguing for Donald Trump will be arguing for Palantir. What do I mean by get rid of these people? Is that a veiled threat? No, it's not veiled at all. I'll be very clear on that. They need to not have any role in our government at all. They need to be, Alex Karp needs to be removed from any position where he can access our data. If we're going to use Palantir, we should nationalize it. I don't like Palantir, but if we're going to use that system to run our government, Alex Karp should be removed from that position, and he should not have eyeballs on it. If we want to buy it from him, fine. If we want to buy him out, that's cool. But if these private companies are going to be involved in things like space and in our infrastructure, then we should nationalize them. We should buy them out. Elon Musk should not have access to top secret information while he's also running a for-profit business that is using that information. Same with Alex Karp. What are you trying to get me? You trying to get me killed over here? They're threatening, and that's what MAGA's going to do too. They're like, "Are you talking bad about the tech oligarchs? I'm going to report you." Yeah, they need to be removed from those positions. Nobody should be in that position. We should not have a third-party system for running our government. That was the whole point of having a constitution. We have a framework. Maybe private business might be a little more efficient. Who cares? Are we going to give all the power to one dude? Did we find out Maverick isn't American? Is that what that is? Is he Canadian? Don't be one of those Canadian. That would make sense if Maverick was one of those Canadian MAGAs. All right. Last thing on this, because I want to show, we covered this a while ago, but I want to cover it again. This is a manifesto put out by Palantir. Can I fan this up? I don't know why this never works to make it bigger, but we covered it a couple weeks ago. I just want to review it. Silicon Valley, this is what they put out. Silicon Valley owes a moral debt. The engineering elite has an the engineering elite. This is what they're calling themselves, by the way. The engineering elite has an affirmative obligation to participate in the defense of the nation. Is a direct attempt to convert the private tech sector of, sorry, this is somebody else's writing too, private tech sector of unelected engineers and founders into political class with civic authority. Participating in defense sounds benign, but in practice it means the U.S. dependence on firms whose incentive is expansion of their unhinged ideology. They put out this manifesto that said, we owe you guys in America so much that we're going to take control of your defense. We must rebel against the tyranny of the apps. That's opposition. We have to rebel against the tyranny of the apps. Who are the apps? YouTube. Where you guys are at right now. YouTube, Twitch, if you're on TikTok. We have to rebel against the tyranny of them. It's intended to delegitimize consumer tech and give moral status to undemocratic state security tech. See, getting Apple and Google to remove ICE tracking apps as the government used Palantir to ID targets for ICE. Free email's not enough. Decadence, forgiven only if. With growth and security is pure authoritarianism, claiming legitimacy rests on output and security performance, not on rights, accountability, or democratic consent. Soft power requires hard power, and hard power will be built on software. What does that mean? Trust us. Black box machine creators to kill and imprison the right people. Guys, there's soft power. We got to get rid of that with hard power. We're the hard power. We're going to come in as Palantir, and we're going to kill the right people. Remember, Palantir also has this belief of gray cities. They think that there should be three classes of people: the reds, the blues, and the grays. Now, the grays are them. They run everything. The reds are useful because they listen to the grays. That's you. That's MAGA. And who the fuck do you think the blues are? And the blues will be second-class citizens. They're legitimately talking about creating a society where you, MAGA, have no say, but you get to stick around and be alive as long as you comply with what they do, and they're going to get rid of us. Those of us who stand opposed to a technocracy, we will be removed. But you won't, because you're dumb and you listen. They're telling you that to your face. And we still have to pretend that like Donald Trump is aware of all this and he's just playing 5D chess. The question is not whether AI weapons will be built, they say. It's who will build them, when they will be built, who will be in control. This classic inevitability move claims we have to normalize dangerous tech before a serious public framework exists, or we lose this race they made up to justify embedding them as decision makers. Guys, stop paying attention to the data centers. Stop paying attention to AI. Stop. We have to beat China. It's okay. Like, it's okay. We just watched Tucker Carlson rip Kevin O'Leary yesterday. And Kevin O'Leary was doing the same thing. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know if it's going to create jobs. I don't know what the end is, but we have to beat China. Guys, sacrifice your rights, your knowledge, your intelligence, your access to information. Sacrifice all of that because we have to beat China. And Trump and the Republicans are parroting this talking point every single day. You are like second class cucks. You have the people that you vote for and that you think are in charge are actually cucks to these people, and you're cucks to those people. So you're not even like in the room. You're watching it from a second room on a small monitor. Oh, this is great. They said national service should be a universal duty. Didn't we do this earlier today? How come our tech oligarchs sound exactly like the Republicans that Trump are endorsing? Where is this? Right here. Again, national service should be a universal duty. We should all have to serve in the military. And then Trump endorsed this guy and says, this is one of the best patriots in America. You need to replace Thomas Massey with him. And what's he saying?
We moved away from conscription selective service and went to the all-volunteer force.
Right.
And so that's been the most challenging few years since that transition, and that is a significant issue for national security. And now back to the question about, well, selective service and
shit, I was sharing my screen. Sorry, I forgot I had switched. You can hear that.
Attitudes about it. I would offer there is a cultural issue, and that it does appear we have a corrosion of our culture and the commitment to what our nation stands for. If you figure, we got to start selective service, we got to get them through all the in-processing, boot camp, trainings, you're talking months downstream. Do we really have that time anymore?
No.
Is that a deeply flawed concept?
Yeah.
And so what would really happen if we had to go from what I call a cold start of a pending?
There's Maverick just coming in, cuck. I wouldn't mind if we had to do this. Yeah, I know, Maverick. You want to be told what to do. Just find yourself a strong woman who will tell you what to do. You'll be happy. Find somebody to boss you around. You don't need to be a cuck to the government and to these tech oligarchs. Maverick in real time's like, yeah, I actually wouldn't mind this. I wouldn't mind if I had no control over anything. That's crazy, man.
World War, how fast and what would really happen if we had to re-implement selective service, i.e. the draft, train, equip, and prepare to deploy those forces.
All right, so we see the connection there? If a U.S. Marine asks, we should build it. The same goes for software. Ludicrous. Support the troops becomes a shield for adoption of opaque digital systems, including surveillance, targeting, analytics, and predictive tools. How often do we see Pete Hegseth do this? Every time he goes in front of Congress or in front of a reporter. They ask him about places where we could improve or things where he screwed up, and he's like, "Oh, you hate the military. You have to support our military. It's actually treasonous that you don't support our military." Donald Trump the other day, when asked why he keeps saying they control the Strait of Hormuz when they clearly don't, he's like, "Oh, you hate our troops. That's treason." This is the outline. How in control are these people that Donald Trump sounds like their fucking puppet? Republicans sound like the puppet of Palantir. How do we think that happened? It couldn't have anything to do with these tech oligarchs lining their pockets over and over and over again, right? Couldn't have anything to do with that. Public servants need to be our priests, or need not be our priests. They're not. This is again, they're just trying to discredit anybody who speaks out against AI. Don't listen to public servants. They're not your priest. Listen to us while we scare you into adopting AI everything and giving all of your power over to us. Every dictator in history, whether it's a fascist dictator or a communist dictator, every dictator in history did this exact thing. Donald Trump did this as well. Guys, you don't have to listen to these people. I'll take care of you. I'm here to save you. I'm here to keep you protected. Just give me a little more power. Day one, I'll be a dictator, and then I'll give it up. Well, he hasn't given it up yet. We should show far more grace towards those who have subjected themselves to public life. Who's that? Who's the public life? Look at this. Go to the top. Silicon Valley owes a moral debt. The engineering elite has an affirmative obligation to participate in the defense of the nation. They're talking about them. We need to show more grace towards these brave tech oligarchs who have created all of these programs to keep you safe. Don't make fun of Alex Karp anymore. Remember that Alex Karp said, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts that tried to screw us. People who are critical of Palantir, whose criticism leads to their stock going down. He said, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on them. We need to show more grace to them. And these are, again, you can say, you can argue if you want that they don't control Trump, but whether they control Trump or not, he's handing the reins of our government to them, and Trump's going to leave, and these people are going to have full control. I know there's no such thing as a communist dictator, but I was saying it so that we didn't have to get into a 45-minute argument about communists or how, like, there's also bad people on the left. Illusion said Maven and Claude was responsible for the Iran war targeting. Correct. Bombing schools. Illusion said, please teach your kids to topple these elitist AI pricks. That'd be great. Teach your kids. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. The psychologization of modern politics is, again, the anti-democratic play. They do this all the time. They're like, you guys are all brainwashed. We're the ones that aren't brainwashed. You're brainwashed. Listen to us. They seriously say, like, politics should be run by serious strategic actors, not by citizens bringing moral and social needs into their public sphere. That's why they don't like democracy. Democracy, caring for the poor, caring for the sick, caring about social cohesion, all that stuff is useless to them because they're fucking nerds that sit around and make comedy legal again, and they have no use for your feelings or for social cohesion, and they have no use for people who just want to live like a simple life. Those people need to get the fuck out of the way so that they can continue to dominate. Our society has grown too eager at the demise of its enemies as a way of saying there should be no moral scrutiny to those who wield power. We're too eager to criticize our leaders that are just there trying to protect us. That's what they want you to believe, because, again, they want power. The atomic age is ending. A new era of deterrence built on AI is set to begin. Hey, guys, you need us. If you don't let us control this, we're going to lose to China. And do you really want to be under China's control? Okay, you can have anything you want. No other country has advanced progressive values more than this one. Is Palantir invoking the progressivism it mocks in order to mute structural criticism by appealing to American exceptionalism? You see this all the time. America ended slavery first, which isn't true. Republicans are the ones who fought to end slavery. True, but also ignores the party switch. They always do this. They say, oh, we're already progressive enough. We're already more progressive, so we don't need to do that any longer. Now that we're progressive, we need to be more realistic. American power has made possible an extraordinary long peace is another American exceptionalism reading of post-World War II to justify Palantir's projection of power and domestic democratic erosion. They like to say that the reason that we have had prolonged peace is because of America. I would argue we haven't had prolonged peace. I would argue that post-World War II, nobody has been more destructive and more warlike than the United States of America. Nobody's invaded more countries. Nobody's imposed their will more than the United States of America. The thing is we just have nukes. And we made rules where nobody else really could get nukes. And so everybody else is fucked. And the only places that we don't go and fuck up are like China and Russia, who also have nukes. And then China and Russia are like, well, we can't really do anything because what are we going to do? Go to a nuclear war? It's been peace for us. We've been largely safe, but everybody else is struggling. Anyways, you can go read the rest of that manifesto. I don't want to harp on that too long. But that's where we're at. That's the place of history we're at, conservatives. Your cuckery is leading us into a bizarre place where democracy could end pretty quickly. And after these midterms, we'll see. If politicians in America start going after Palantir, we'll see. I don't think they're up for the fight. I still think we have all the power. But we have to stop allowing this integration into our government and this idea that, well, none of these people can tell us what AI is going to do for us. We have to give up all of our rights, all of our privacy, all of our money, all of our energy, all of our water, and we need to get the fuck out of the way so that they can tell us what the plan was later once they get all the power. What do you think? Like, what do you think they're going to do with all those, those energy rights? What do you think they're going to do with all those water rights? You know what they're going to do because they've said it. Sam Altman has said it. He wants everything to be tokenized. You want internet? Here's a token. You want food, water? Here's a token. And who are you going to buy that from? Not the government, because the government is evil. You're going to buy it from private companies. They want to own all of the assets. That's really what this is. It's not an AI play. They need you to give them everything. Because when you think about like the amount of money that they're spending on AI, the amount of money that like OpenAI has spent, it's trillions of dollars. I think it's almost $2 trillion now. They have billions of dollars in revenue. They are never going to provide a return on investment through AI for their investors. So where would they get a return on investment? Certainly energy, land, water, tokenization of the internet. What do you think is going to happen when these investors come to OpenAI and they're like, hey, we need returns here. We're going to need money at some point. At some point, the stock isn't just going to keep going up and up and up. We're going to need money. Then what? Then they're going to start selling water. They're going to start selling energy. That's what Kevin O'Leary wants this data center for. It's not about the data center. He wants access to that pipeline, and he has said it. I want to be able to sell our excess back to the government. Okay, well, what if you don't need the data center anymore? Oh, suddenly you're selling. Now the government is buying natural gas from you. Cool. That's what PayPal was. That's why all these social media companies want to become payment processors. That's why they wanted to get rid of the CFPB. They just want, no matter what you do, they want to collect a percentage of what you're doing. Every time you spend $1, they want a percentage of that. Maybe it's a small percentage, but that's all this is. It's just a way to like they're cloaking this takeover in AI is so important, and they're quietly collecting the ability to charge you for everything that you do. We're so close to being Russia, so very close to being Russia, where we just have oligarchs who have all the money, and then the rest of us are fucked. I argue with AI on a weekly basis. Public AI is like a teenager currently. Yeah, that's true. All right. I want to talk about this. Here's Liz Oyer, a lawyer Oyer,
Hey,
I think is
everybody.
her name here on TikTok. Introducing this came out yesterday, but we didn't cover it. The Justice Department, I guess, is considering or is approving a slush fund. Remember, Donald Trump was suing the IRS, and now because this wasn't a judge was never going to let this case happen. It's nonsense. And so now they're settling it, and I'm assuming somebody told Trump somewhere along the line that, like, hey, if you profit from this, it's going to be a problem. So now there's this slush fund. It's $1.776 billion for 1776, and it's going to be used at the president's discretion or the DOJ's discretion to give money back to people who were harmed by the justice system when the Justice Department said, hey, you can't try and overthrow our government. And here's Liz Oyer to explain that.
I try to bring you the legal news calmly and factually, but today the news is so outrageous that calm is just not possible. Today we witnessed what I would call the greatest abuse of our legal system in history. It rises to the level of a criminal conspiracy between the president and the Justice Department. Let me explain. I'm Liz Oyer, the former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. I told you last week about the sham lawsuit that Donald Trump filed against the IRS, seeking $10 billion in damages. The judge handling the case suspected the lawsuit was a farce, so she appointed a team of independent legal experts to evaluate the merits of the case. They all agreed that it's nonsense and it should be thrown out. But before the court could toss the case, Trump's lawyers moved to dismiss it voluntarily. Why? Because Trump reached a settlement agreement with the Justice Department, which he controls. Todd Blanche announced the settlement this morning. Here's what it does. It uses taxpayer money to create a nearly $1.8 billion slush fund for Trump's allies and supporters. They are calling it an anti-weaponization fund. According to Blanche, the purpose is to compensate victims of lawfare and weaponization. The fund will have the power to issue both formal apologies and monetary relief. The fund will have 5 members who are appointed by the Attorney General and can be removed by the President. These 5 people have total discretion to give this money, our money, to anyone they choose, with no oversight, no transparency, and no public input. I don't say this lightly. This is straight up criminal. By approving this settlement, the acting Attorney General has agreed at the President's request to dip into the U.S. Treasury where our tax dollars are held and give away our money to people who have no legal right to it. This is a theft of our property. It is a fraud on the American people. It is a criminal conspiracy at the highest levels of our government. As the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche is entrusted with defending the United States against frivolous lawsuits. He has a fiduciary duty to protect taxpayer money from false and fraudulent claims. He has abdicated that duty. He has betrayed the American people. He has betrayed his oath to uphold the Constitution. This is the type of thing we should be protesting in the streets. I know it's exhausting, but our democracy is depending on us to keep it afloat. Please call your elected reps and demand that they block this settlement. Please make sure your friends and your neighbors know that this is a criminal abuse of the legal system. Please do whatever you can to spread the word and sound the alarm. Thanks. Hey, everybody.
This is fucking insane. It's so weird that we're covering this. This is one of those days that's like, wait, what? A bunch of people showed up at the Capitol. They beat the shit out of police. Some were convicted of seditious conspiracy. There was an actual written down plan to take over the federal government. And it doesn't matter that the people who did it were too stupid to be able to accomplish it. They did it. They tried to overthrow our government. And now, because somebody from the IRS leaked Donald Trump's tax returns, we have to pay. This is legitimate. Like, somebody leaked Trump's tax returns, so now we have to give $1.8 billion to the people who tried to overthrow our government. Can you please explain that to me? Any MAGA, you want to explain that to me? Why? Because somebody leaked Trump's IRS tax, or from the IRS leaked his tax returns, we have to give criminals $1.8 billion? Want to explain that, please? Oh, wait. I think it'll require Maverick. Any thoughts on this one, Maverick? Yeah, that's a good point, Deborah. MAGA said the left was behind January 6th, but they're okay with the slush fund. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? They were behind January 6th, but then they all got pardoned. Not one of those people who, like, people will still say that January 6th was a setup, and then they'll also defend the pardons. We should give that money to Israel. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But any MAGA? You got an argument? Where's our normal MAGA people? You guys going quiet now? Okay. Interesting you bring that up, Letty. Said, wow, but black people can't get reparations. This country sucks. Cornel West brought that up in front of Scott Jennings. That's an excellent point. Suddenly conservatives are in favor of reparations, but only if you support Donald Trump.
Here, my dear brother Scott, try to rationalize this in some way, and I see you're getting checkmated here, because there's just no grounds for a justification of this unless you open the gates and you got trillions of dollars for ex-slaves and ex-Jim Crow people. You got 6,000 of the Innocence Project just at Harvard Law School.
What are we going to do about the 6,000? Now, if you're not familiar with the Innocence Project, that's 6,000 people who were wrongfully convicted of crimes, who had the Innocent Project pick up their case and help them get off of charge. I remember didn't they do this with who was that guy? What was that? It was like the Dassies. I can't remember what that show was called. I think the Innocent Project was part of that.
Of people who've been incarcerated, and you got 2.2 of mass incarceration. I've been blessed to teach in prison for 49 years.
I'm sorry, Amy said deal on compensation fund blocks IRS claims against president and his family. I'm not sure what that means, Amy.
Now, tomorrow is Malcolm X's birthday. He's 101. What is it about Malcolm? Well, what we're talking about is this is just the peak of an iceberg. When you're living in an empire that is unraveling because the hatred and the greed is overwhelming. And so there's no sincerity, there's no integrity, there's no character. So people will justify anything in the name of power and might as opposed to integrity and what is right. That's a spiritual crisis. That's a moral crisis. Malcolm X was right about that. I was glad to see his face on that magnificent banner down there in Alabama when they marched in Selma and Montgomery. Martin was there, Fannie Lou Hamer was there, but it's not a question of skin pigmentation. It's a question of character, integrity, and the attempt to do what is right. There's no integrity in justifying $1.8 billion of people who engaged in criminal activity actually kill some policemen, and they get compensated, they get reparations, and black folk, indigenous folk, other folk, unfair, even white brothers and sisters who have gone to jail innocent, who deserve some kind of accountability. There's no way you can justify this. But this is just one peak of an iceberg. What we're seeing is spiritual sickness, moral decrepitude, and political corruption on steroids. But the good news is you still got folk in the country who are trying to exemplify some integrity and character and courage.
I mean, anybody want to explain to me why these folks get reparations, but no reparations for the people from the Innocence Project, no reparations for slavery, for Jim Crow? Well, I'm glad you say that, Jeremy. I'm glad that you say reparations are a joke. So why is Donald Trump handing out reparations? Are you maybe you're not a fan of reparations in general, so I assume you oppose this. I would like your next comment to just be your thoughts on Donald Trump giving out reparations to the January 6th people. I can't stand Jennings and his facial expressions. Yeah, his face. He's got a hateable face. All right. Todd Blanche actually was in front of the Senate this morning, and he was asked some questions. Here's Senator Coons wanting to make sure. And maybe, Amy, I think maybe this is what you were saying. Is there any sort of guarantee that Trump's not going to benefit from this?
Here, President Trump is the first president to sue his own government and then direct his chosen acting attorney general.
We're not still harping on J6, JD Tux. They just announced that they were going to pay people from January 6th. Try and keep up. This is a brand new story today.
To reach this kind of settlement, will you commit that none of President Trump's family will receive a direct payout from this fund?
Yes, but what you just said is not true. I mean, if I can correct that.
Please.
The president did not direct me to do anything. And secondly,
yeah,
when we said it was
For sure, guys. He came up with this deal all on his own. Trump sued the IRS, and Todd Blanche came up with a plan to, instead of continuing that lawsuit to get Trump was going to sue the IRS, and instead of fighting against Trump, which would have been his job in this case, he would have been protecting the government's job to protect themselves. Instead of doing that, he set up a slush fund for the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and Trump had nothing to do with that. For sure. We believe that.
The structure of the commission is similar to Coffeezilla. That's true. It wasn't the case. The underlying case is not the same. The structure of the commission is the same as the Coffeezilla commission.
Has it ever happened that a sitting president sued his
Get rid of Mr. Miller. We have one chance. Can you explain why this makes more sense than reparations for slavery, please?
own government for $10 billion and then directed the settlement of the case and the establishment of a payout fund?
Not that I'm aware, but there's a lot of things that President Trump's the first of. No president had been indicted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Correct.
6, 7, 8 times.
Yeah. We've never had a criminal president before. And every indictment that went to court, he was found guilty on. 100%. Every single time he went to court, he lost. 3 for 3. Yeah, exactly, Jay Rezzy. Not a flex. But again, with MAGA, and this goes back to why it's a cult, every time you're proven wrong, you take it as you being proven right. You're like, oh, the fact that this didn't go my way is even more proof that everything's corrupt and I'm more right. Every time Trump is proven wrong, they get more and more sure that he's right.
Correct. No president's been indicted. And will you commit that none of this money will go to President Trump's campaign donors?
I am not committing to anything beyond the settlement agreement itself. When you say campaign donors, that they are not excluded from seeking compensation.
Last question.
Why not? If you're going to create this, why would you not exclude donors? Of course you would do that, right? Of course you would make sure that you want to distance yourself from looking like you're paying off donors. Of course you would do that. Then Coons asks, just simply like, are we going to know? Are we going to know who's getting these funds? I'd also like to point out one other thing. It's Congress controls the purse. The fact that a slush fund has been created without the approval of Congress is on its face unconstitutional. I believe that the Supreme Court will strike this down. I think that they will sue that this is unconstitutional. And I think it will be struck down. I actually kind of think this is a distraction. I think they know it will be struck down. There's no way they can bypass Congress and just start handing out money.
Your announcement said that the fund will send you quarterly reports. Will you commit to making these reports fully public so Americans know who's getting taxpayer dollars out of the settlement fund? This says they'll be confidential. This is Section 4, Part E of the...
Yes, with this Supreme Court. Because, look, there's no benefit for this Supreme Court to do this. Nobody benefits from any of this. You remember, our Supreme Court has ruled ruled the Trump administration unconstitutional 30 plus times already. This Supreme Court. There's no political win here. There's no political ideology here. If you're talking about ripping away civil liberties, or if you're talking about stripping rights away from women, then the Supreme Court has an ideology that they work from, and they'll do that whenever they can. But there's no win here. This is just blatantly unconstitutional. I think I'll be right on this. I think the Supreme Court will rule against this one. And that's not saying what I think's right versus what they think's right. That's just based on how the Supreme Court has ruled.
Settlement agreement.
The reason why I want to be careful in my answer is because there's obviously laws that exist around privacy that may prevent some of the information that the commission takes in from being fully public. Beyond that, there will be full transparency, and I commit to you that, beyond the applicable laws that exist around privacy and privileges and whatnot. But as far as being transparent and having those quarterly reports released, yes.
Thank you.
Two things. One, you didn't commit to anything. You said fully transparent while also admitting that you're going to hide names. And secondly, you're late on your quarterly reports every time. And every time you come before Congress and they ask for a report, you go, I don't have to give that to you. So anybody who buys that is you're dreaming. Then Van Hollen says, confronts Blanche on this, because Blanche is an unmitigated liar. He will lie about anything and everything. And just 2 days ago, he was saying that there's a ton of evidence that the 2020 election was stolen. When pushed on what evidence he was talking about, he didn't have any, because there isn't any evidence that the 2020 election was stolen. And I will challenge, what do we got, 40 minutes? Anybody who wants to come up and give me a single piece of evidence that the 2020 election was stolen that can be confirmed, come on up. I would love to hear from you. I'll give you $5 if you have a confirmed piece of evidence that would lead to any evidence that, or I guess would lead to any conclusion that the election in some way was stolen.
Attorney General is supposed to be the people's lawyer and defend the rule of law and not act as the president's personal lawyer. But in this administration, the Department of Justice is solely focused on pleasing one man, no matter the cost. Lest anyone forget, huge banners with Donald Trump's face hang from both sides of the main Justice building. This is the big banner of Donald Trump on...
Let me see if I can find that picture, which is fucking weird. Why would the president's face be on the DOJ building? Does anybody want to explain that? They're supposed to be nonpartisan, and they are not supposed to work for the president. You guys want to explain that? If you're not in a cult, why the massive? I'm trying to find it real quick while we go. Why the massive pictures of him? Why did he rewrite all the plaques and basically call every president we've ever had a piece of shit? Here it is. What kind of shit is this? What kind of shit is this? It's not weird to you? If not cult, then why cult shaped? Yeah, exactly.
On one side of it, so that every single person who enters that building will see it and remember exactly what that man wants them.
Even if that's true, Mr. Miller, like he was just trying to troll people like you. I would like it if our president wasn't a fucking teenager on the internet. Why is he trying to troll America? Even if that were true, why is he doing that? Isn't he so, like, you guys get so mad at me for criticizing him. Isn't his job to unite? Isn't, like, you don't want a president that takes things seriously? You want him to, like, pretend that we're North Korea to own the libs? That's weird.
Them to do. You're his former personal attorney, and you know exactly what he wants. In fact, he often posts it right here on social media, his Truth Social account. He wants to weaponize the department for his own political ends. And right from the start, you and your cohorts have worked to deliver what he wants, doing his political dirty work. 2 days ago, you even suggested that there was, quote, a ton of evidence that the 2020 election was rigged against Trump. And here you are at a budget hearing asking for taxpayer funds to pursue the department's mission when you're using those funds to punish Trump's adversaries, reward his friends, and pursue his personal vendettas.
Maverick, I want to know, just why won't you ever come up here and talk? Because what you're doing right now is you're cherry picking videos from January 6th. And I think that you know that if you come up here and we pull up the videos, we'll be able to explain all those videos away. Why won't you do that? Why are you here every day and you won't come up and have a discussion and challenge your own beliefs? Or, like, I'm just going to say it. I think you're a pussy. And I'm nice to you all the time, but like, this is sheer cowardice. You are here 3.5 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and you can't find the courage to defend those beliefs, or at least challenge your own beliefs. Why not come up and challenge your beliefs and see if the things that you believe hold up to criticism? What kind of shit is that? It's fucking embarrassing that you're defending January 6th with the most easily debunked shit. Well, there were videos of police officers letting people in. Oh, word? Did you ever see their testimony about that? Did you ever hear the explanation about that? No, I didn't. I saw it on Twitter and I just assumed. You didn't know why, right? They didn't want to be assaulted anymore, and they were trying to lead people away from going into the chambers. You've seen the video of those two police officers walking around with the guy here from Arizona. What did they call him? The QAnon shaman. Did you hear his testimony? Did you hear the testimony from the two police officers? Did you know that they had the same testimony? That when you look at the map, what they did is they led him away from Congress. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that. I just want to believe everything's a conspiracy. And why do you want to believe everything's a conspiracy? So you don't have to admit that Donald Trump is a fucking psychopath who tried to overthrow the government, but he's so goddamn dumb that it looks stupid to you. And that's the one part that none of you can figure out. The reason it looks so weird and the reason like it doesn't make any sense is because Donald Trump and everybody that works with him is legitimately a fucking idiot. They are incapable of taking a plan and then executing that plan. Look at Iran. What plan has Donald Trump ever executed that went well? He fucks up literally everything he does, but he has an army of dipshits to be like, actually, the fact that he fucked it up is proof that he knew what he was doing. This is 5D chess. Nothing he ever does works because 5D chess. He's actually has this other plan, and he's distracting you from this other plan. And we're 10 years in, and he's literally not accomplished a single fucking thing. Not one fucking thing he said he was going to do. And you're still like, yeah, this is good. Tim said, RTP and crew don't get enough credit for the work you do. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And a W, Tim, in the chat there for the $75 sent over on Venmo. Amber said, compensation fund, the agreement, the Justice. Okay, I'm with you. I think from the Justice Department. Thank you. All right. Do we think it's fair? I would say that I would think that we would have agreement here. If you went to the Capitol on January 6th, please, I really hope we have agreement here. If you went to the Capitol on January 6th and you beat up a police officer and you were found guilty of beating up a police officer, can we all agree that that person shouldn't get any money? Is there anybody here that thinks that if you beat up a police officer, you should still get access to this compensation fund? Dolphin said, paying white supremacists off, but the Dems are funding the Triple K. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's crazy. Sorry I missed that one earlier, Dolphin. Appreciate that. Jail, no money. Okay, well, seems like they're going to get money.
Mr. Attorney General, this is an outrageous, unprecedented.
Sherry said, am I early or late for Antifa dues? Dealer's choice on that one. You might be early or late.
Slush fund that you set up. Simple question. Will individuals who assaulted...
Sherry. I forgot to say her name. Thank you.
Capitol Hill police officers be eligible for this fund?
Well, as it makes plain, anybody
just let me know if they're eligible for the fund.
As was made plain yesterday, anybody in this country is eligible to apply if they believe they're a victim of weaponization.
Mr. Attorney General, let me ask you this.
Why would you not put in language that says if you assaulted a police officer, you're not eligible? Why not set conditions of who is and isn't eligible? If this is really about the people who were just there that got like caught up, and I have some, honestly, like I have some level of understanding of the people that got caught up that are just like, some people are really fucking stupid. I get that. Like some of those pardons, I don't really care about that much. I don't think they should get money. That's fucking crazy that they should get paid. Like, is it our government's responsibility that if somebody's too stupid to know they're committing a crime, that the government now, when the government arrests them because they're too stupid to know they're committing a crime, then the government also has to pay them? I mean, that's crazy, right? We've never proved that the government actually set this up. There's never been any evidence that the FBI or the CIA made this happen, or the Democrats did. So we now have to pay people for being too stupid to understand that they're breaking a crime. I'm fine. Like, again, I just think that there's some people that were dumb and they followed a crowd into the Capitol, and they probably should have been charged with the crime. But I'm not saying they should have got a pardon. I want to be clear on this. I just don't care that much. Right? I think some things are a big deal, some things aren't a big deal. If everybody that got pardoned were just the people who were like accused of trespassing, I honestly wouldn't have cared that much. I probably wouldn't have even covered the story. There's so many things that are more important than that. But like paying them, we also have to pay them for being stupid. This is like reverse DEI. It's just like, if you're a big dumb conservative idiot, you get paid now. It's not your fault you're stupid. We'll give you money every time you're a goddamn idiot. That's what we're doing. We're paying people for being fucking stupid. I would also like to point out to even for those that are like, this was the FBI. They were the ones that were convincing people to go into the Capitol. You're a fucking idiot still. If an FBI agent was like, hey, go in there, I'd be like, no, dude. I can't go in there. See all those police officers there that were blocking the entrance? See all these barricades that everybody jumped over? I think those are there for a reason. Like, honestly, if you're too stupid to know that you can't go into the Capitol, why the fuck would we pay them? Even if the FBI was in on it, which there's literally no evidence of. None. Even if they were, they're still idiots. We shouldn't have to pay people for being fucking stupid, but like, it's a badge of honor with MAGA. I'm so dumb that I got arrested. I need money. And then we just give them money.
Are there going to be rules that say that if you've assaulted a Capitol Hill police officer or committed a violent crime, you will not be eligible? Why not make that a rule?
I expect that, because I'm not one of the commissioners setting up the rules, I expect that there will be rules.
You're appointing 4 of the 5 members, aren't you, Mr. Attorney General?
Pardon me?
You're appointing 4 of the 5 members.
It's actually 5 of the 5.
I am appointing
You can
all 5
certainly
members.
set up the rules. I would hope you would make a rule that anyone convicted of assaulting a police officer of violent crime is simply not eligible. They should not apply.
Why not? Why did we pardon people who committed violent crimes? Maverick? Trump pardoned people who beat up police officers. Now he's going to pay people, or he can pay people. Let's say that. Jury's out on that. But he has the ability to pay people who beat up police, and he pardoned them. Why are we pardoning violent criminals? What about the people that like then went on to do horrific things? Now, this seems like these people who were pardoned, they always believed, and I think this is important to remember, that you can check the court cases, you can look at the phone logs, you can hear recorded calls. These people who attacked the Capitol on January 6th, they always believed that they were going to be pardoned. Somebody was telling them, don't worry, you're going to be pardoned. All of them believed it. There were a handful that rejected the pardons, but they all thought they were going to be pardoned, and they all thought they were going to be made whole, that the government was going to pay them. And we've seen this in evidence in court cases where they're on the record saying like, yeah, I knew I was going to get money. Here's an example of that. And bringing it up to Todd Blanche, how does Todd Blanche not know this? I think he probably does. He just doesn't want to admit that this is all just a way. There's some conspiracy theory that I can't say that it's not going to be the case. There's a lot of people who think Trump's just building an army, that he's building a civilian army. It's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue that he's paying a civilian army off. Why in the world are we using taxpayer money for this shit? Siam Prince said, what was the penalty for insurrection in 1776? That's... I don't think we can say that, but we know.
Let me go back to this slush fund, because there's also an individual who, after being pardoned by the president, went on to molest 2 children. And that person actually tried to buy the silence of these children by saying that he would pay them some of the funds that he was hoping to get from your slush fund. Can you commit to making the rules so that that person is not eligible for a payout under this fund?
Well, you're obviously lying in your question, because there's no way that this person committed to that. But the slush fund, as you call it, which is not, didn't exist.
I'm sure.
That's not a lie. I also want to be on the record of saying I don't think Todd Blanche is that bright. You can't be an intelligent person and decide to work for the Trump administration. He didn't say that they knew the slush fund was going to be there. He expected a slush fund to be there. And he told a victim that he abused, be quiet, I'll pay you out when I get this money. That's how he tried to silence his victim. Don't go to the police. Don't worry, I've got this money coming. Why did all these people think they had money coming? Somebody was telling them that money was coming. And here we are.
But I can commit.
Mr. Attorney General, don't ever do that again. I am reporting
what again?
What he said. He said on the expectation that he hoped to get some of the funds from a payout. He's been
From
hearing
you said from the slush fund, Senator, and that didn't exist when he said that.
This is the fund that the president and all of you have been telegraphing all along that you're going to use to help the president's friends.
I mean, the patheticness. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, fuck her forever. Do you remember during the RNC convention that they had a makeshift cell? Let's find it. You don't get to rewrite history and pretend that these people didn't know that. There was the J6 prisoners singing the fucking national anthem. J6 choir, yeah. I don't even know what to look up. The J6 cell. See if I can find it. Jen, could you find me the video of Marjorie Taylor Greene? I think it was at the RNC or CPAC. I think it was the RNC, where she's like, she's like walking in you can go to that jail cell, and they're like, it's like they're treating it like they're at the 9/11 memorial, as if these people were such victims. Like, we watched it live, yeah. I mean, how do we get here? How do we get to this place where you guys are just willing to like rewrite history? And then here's the last question, and I think this one's really important because there's a lot of people that consistently come before Congress, Representative Andy Ogles, for example, the other day was like, if the government can be weaponized against me, then imagine who's next. It's you. No, it's us first. You just happened to then get caught up in doing some illegal activity. And I think this is really similar here. Like Donald Trump's information was leaked by the IRS, but there was like 400,000 or 500,000 other Americans who had their information leaked by the IRS. Why are they not getting settlements? Why is Donald Trump getting a settlement and going to J6ers? What about all the other people who had their IRS data leaked? Can you guys explain that? Because he's for you, right? It's America first. Donald Trump gets his information leaked. He gets a slush fund to pay off his supporters. Everybody else, some of you in this, statistically, potentially some of you in this audience had your data leaked. Where's your payout? Do you get one?
How many taxpayers' returns were leaked by the IRS contractor in the 2020 breach?
How many taxpayers, excuse me?
How many taxpayers' returns were leaked by the IRS contractor in the 2020 breach?
I don't know the exact amount, but a lot.
405,427. One of them was Donald Trump, correct? One of them was Donald Trump, correct?
One of them was Donald Trump and his family, or others, correct?
Right. And Donald Trump was president at the time.
Correct.
So it was his IRS department that allowed this breach of privacy, correct?
Well, it was a criminal who worked in the IRS, yes.
Jamar said, you crushing melons and Jen crushing hearts. Thanks, Jamar.
Well, he was hired under Trump's admin. This is one of the Trump.
Well, there was a criminal breach that led to this, yes.
Very good. How many of these 400,000 people have received monetary reimbursement for the breach?
I don't think any have, including the president.
No, they haven't. But you've authorized the president. Do you agree the president should have reimbursement, correct?
No, we settled the case. No, there's no reimbursement to President Trump.
Well,
that was a bad question by Senator Reid there. That was a dumb question. He should have known that.
So President Trump, you're going to assure us President Trump and his family will get no proceeds from this?
Correct. He will not.
He will not get. His family will not get.
I mean, this is a dumb question because it's obviously for like the J6ers. I feel like that's already been answered. But the reason I want to show that is like, what about the 400,000 other people? Did they get a slush fund to pay off their friends? What do they get?
Correct.
And who will direct the distribution of these? Who gets the money?
From the
Hey, Wojtek, publish what I said 2 years ago. Go for it.
Victims Fund? Well, there'll be a commission of 5 individuals that will be set up, and they will take in requests and claims and decide whether to do anything for mission of policy.
Who will name the commissioners?
I will. Or the Attorney General, whoever the Attorney General is.
The Attorney General.
Whoops.
Okay.
Sorry, just to correct. And one of them will be done in consultation with leadership of this body.
Consultation.
Isn't that weird? 4 of the people that get to decide are just going to be picked by Todd Blanche. And the 5th one is also picked by Todd Blanche, but he'll consult Congress on it. How does that work out? How does Congress control the purse, but they have no control here? How does that work? That's what the weird thing. The settlement's not for Trump. That's what's interesting. Like, Trump wasn't going to win this settlement. That's what happened. And I think, again, this is why I don't think this is going to be upheld. I think that Trump saw that he was going to lose, and Trump never admits that he loses, right? And he's on the record saying, I never admit that I lose. So here's what he's going to propose: this settlement, knowing that this is unconstitutional. And they're going to propose this settlement, and then they'll sue, and it'll be somebody like Democracy Docket. They'll go in and they'll sue the Trump administration, and they'll lose. The Supreme Court will rule on this, and the Trump administration will lose. But it's going to be like a year down the road. And at that point, Trump then gets to stand up and be like, hey, I didn't take any money. I tried to do something for people who were victims, and the Supreme Court made a bad ruling, but what can I do about it? He was going to lose, and this is the way that he saves face. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. When this ruling comes out eventually, I'll eat crow. But I think that's what's going to happen. Just the pattern is pretty consistent. Yeah, I'm with you there, George. Some people are stupid. Some, I mean, Trump's president. I think that's a whole fucking lot more than some. Yeah, again, if you are under any assumption that Donald Trump is an intelligent person, I think that it's safe to say you're kind of dumb. All right, I want to move. We've got about 15 minutes left. I have a couple more things, and then we'll get out of here. And I'll go order a what are those things called? Like the hip trainer, where you put it between your legs and you do the not hip trainer. What are those things? Like hip extensions? What are they? Somebody tell me what those are. What are those things called that you put between your legs and you squish it to get Thigh Master? Thank you, Thigh Master. I got to get a Thigh Master to get ready for the watermelons. But here is Adam Smith talking to Assistant Defense Secretary Zimmerman, and I loved this question. This is such a great question, and I would love, MAGA, if you can, to maybe give me an answer here.
Can you explain to me how it works, why it is considered to be intelligent for the president day after day after day to keep saying that Iran has agreed to things that very clearly they have not agreed to, which then becomes obvious to the entire world within some 24 to 48-hour time period? Help me out here. What is the strategy of the president standing up and saying, we have defeated them, the war is over, they've agreed to everything? I mean, doesn't that just make us look like a bunch of clowns past a certain point when it becomes obvious that that's not the case?
All right, fair question. How is it that it's considered by so many to be intelligent for the president to keep coming out and saying, Iran agreed to this? Iran comes out, they're like, I didn't. We didn't agree to that. And obviously it never comes to fruition. So obviously they didn't agree to it. How is it that that is considered intelligent? Could we, Big Balls is here. Does anybody have an answer for that? Any MAGA have an answer before I play the answer given by Assistant Defense Secretary Zimmerman? I'm not. Listen, this answer is tough. It's tough to listen to.
Congressman, the president's willingness to act decisively to protect Americans and our partners and allies has advanced U.S. credibility.
The question was, bitch, why is it considered intelligent for him to keep saying that Iran agreed to things that very clearly they have not agreed to? Let's see. Why is it intelligent for him to keep saying they agreed to things that they didn't agree to? And your answer was?
Congressman, the president's willingness to act decisively to protect Americans and our partners and allies has advanced U.S. credibility. It has not sunk U.S. credibility.
Not even remotely close to an answer there that makes any fucking sense.
Well, but addressing this specific issue, we could have that debate in a different direction. But he has repeatedly said that Iran has agreed to things that they obviously have not agreed to. And let me ask the question this way. Is the president misinformed? Are people doing a bad job of informing him about what's going on? Is he that ignorant about the circumstances? Or is he just making it up as part of some, I don't know, six-dimensional chess strategy here? So
that's a fair question. Okay, let me ask it differently. Is he getting bad information? Let's not even say that it's Trump that's fucking up. Let's pretend it's somebody else that's fucking up. Is somebody giving him bad information? Like, why is it considered intelligent that he keeps going out there and saying that Iran agreed to things that they didn't agree to? That's a good question.
Why?
The president has the best information available to any head of state.
Why does he keep getting it wrong then?
The president does not keep getting it wrong.
Yes, he does. He keeps saying that Iran agrees to a ceasefire, that Iran agrees to give up their nuclear weapons, and then they don't. He does keep getting it wrong. What world do we live in, MAGA? Why? Like, this is what Donald Trump has done to intelligent people. They're just saying, no. He's clearly getting it wrong, and then they're like, he doesn't get it wrong. Well, but what about when he's wrong? Even when he's wrong, he doesn't get it wrong.
The White House is leading these negotiations to find a long-term solution.
I'm sorry, you have 20 seconds left here, but he doesn't keep getting it wrong. He says, literally, the strait is open. Iran has agreed to give up their nuclear weapons. Iran has agreed to give up their ballistic missile programs. That's your basic question. Is the Strait of Hormuz open? Has Iran given up their nuclear weapons?
The Strait of Hormuz is a complex situation right now where you have a severely degraded foe.
I hope you look back at this and understand how bad.
That's so pathetic. Sorry, I don't want to cut that off. Sorry, this is actually a good part.
I hope you look back at this and understand how bad this is making you look. I mean, look, you can answer the question now. You can challenge me in 1,000 different ways. But to just pretend that reality isn't reality and say it over and over again in a public hearing, I'm sorry, that's not helping our credibility. Thank you for the indulgence, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Can you imagine just playing that clip back to him once Trump's gone? I do wonder, like, how many people I can look back at some of the shit I said when I was in a cult, and I'm like, it's fucking embarrassing. And I think I hope like best case scenario for some of these people that they'll at least be embarrassed. I think that's probably our we can hope for that. That's about as much as we can hope for. Trump went out this morning today to continue this nonsense. Remember, famously religious and Christian Donald Trump decided to hold a press conference in front of the construction of the ballroom and lie about our country being a Christian country.
I think religion is very important for a country. I think having this country was built largely on religion. If you look, it was built so. And when you have
was it though? Was it built on religion? I don't think so.
Strong religion, you have less crime. It's just a fact. You know, whatever it may be, it's.
That's not a fact. If you go look at Scandinavia, where crime is low, like very non-religious people. Where's is Asta Sophia here? There's no evidence that that religion reduces crime.
Like, gee, I want to go to heaven, so I'm not going to do this or that. Who knows? But we have a country that was based on religion, and I'm very proud of that. And if you look and you see all of the polling, I mean, polling is so fake. But on this, it's not fake. Religion is really going up in the last year. And during the time,
what does that mean? Polling is fake, but not this polling. This is real. Religion is going up in the last year. What does that mean? What does that mean that religion is going up in the last year? Anybody want to explain that? This guy's an idiot. Why are we still pretending he's not an idiot? That sentence doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, really, during the time I first got elected in 2016, it's a much different thing. I'm very proud of that. Religion is a good thing. Christianity, it's a great thing for our country. I mean, so many of the things that we've done, the successes that we've had have been based on Christianity. And
name one. Where's our Christians here? Name one success that we've had that is based on Christianity. Swish said for giving the watermelon the business in booty shorts. I did not say booty shorts. Nasri said, why don't people tell Trump the truth? They're afraid of him, I guess. I don't know the answer to that question. What's the one thing that we accomplished through Christianity? Is it 67% of Americans that identify as Christian? Is that that's higher than I thought, honestly. Slavery war. We did this yesterday.
Religion. So I'm very proud of that. Religion is taking off like our country is taking off. Our country's hotter.
Well, that's not a good comparison because our country's not taking off. We're getting our ass beat by Iran and China at the same time. That's not, if you're making the argument that religion's doing well. I know the Mormon Church just reported their lowest baptism numbers on record. I don't think that there's any polling that says people are more religious now than they used to be.
Now than it's ever been, and I'll tell you, religion is making a tremendous comeback. You look at churches today, they're full. You go back 2-3 years, nobody was going. So we're very happy with it.
All right. And then last thing, Jen found it. We'll get out of here on this. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene at the RNC. I think this is one she'll probably look back on and be embarrassed about. Let's get to the part. Shout out to whoever this is. I'm Midas Touch. Sorry, I don't know who this guy is.
Here today, how do you think Republicans are handling today? Check this video out.
Those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever.
A fake January 6th prisoner, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is praying, and they're reciting the Lord's Prayer. Is she blowing someone in prison? That's right. Blowing him for the Lord. That's not Isaiah. Is that Isaiah? He looks different.
Hey everybody, it's Isaiah Martin here.
Holy shit, that's Isaiah. That camera angle. He usually wears glasses, right? That's like a young Isaiah. I didn't even recognize him. Whoa. That's crazy. Did anybody else not know that that was Isaiah? Am I the only person? Maybe I've only ever seen him with glasses on. Sorry, back to this.
Jesus, we trust.
Okay, so Jay would be 100% tricked by Clark Kent. Fuck you. He looks younger. This is an older video. He looks looks older now.
And you, Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, Prince of heavenly hosts.
Wait, who's he rebuking here? Sorry, let me go back. Who's he rebuking?
Trust in you. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, Prince of heavenly hosts, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits. Release this bondage that's going on in our country and upon Brandon. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord Jesus.
It's a fake prisoner. It's a fucking fake prisoner. I thought he was trying to kiss her too. That's what I thought too. MTG in red was a poor choice. Yeah. And then he burst into flames. All right. Let me check messages one more time and then we'll get out of here. I gotta go pick up my daughter. Jen, did I miss any? You were? Oh, Jen's taken off. All right, Jen's gone. Okay, I don't think I did. Anybody? Did I miss a comment from anybody? This whole thing is just a fucking cosplay. Like the 10 years of Donald Trump, this has all just been a cosplay. These are all just fucking LARPers. Nothing they believe in is real. It's extremely performative. They invoke Jesus all the time. There's no way Jesus, if he's real, is pumped about this. Like, guys, I think you missed the whole point. All right. I don't think anybody. Okay, guys, I'll be back tomorrow morning, every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you guys so much. I will go obtain a watermelon later tonight. I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna get 2, and I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can crush it. But I promise, if I can't, I will still post it if I can't. But I feel like I need to get the technique down, and I got to buy some leggings or some shit like that. But until I see you tomorrow morning, take care of yourselves. Be nice to your friends and your family and all those around you. Be nice to pets. Be nice to the planet. Mostly be nice to me because I'm sensitive. But take care of yourselves. Drink lots of water. Go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. If you can't touch grass or smoke grass, Godspeed to all of you. Look yourself in the mirror. Give yourself a compliment. Drink lots of water. Stay hydrated as summer is on the way. For those of you who are about to have your kids full time because summer vacation's coming up, fuck. Good luck. Good luck to all of you. And until I see you tomorrow morning, take care of yourselves, stay cute and cool, and have a great, great summer.